November. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Government shutdown pain for passengers with flights being cut starting today at 40 major U.S. airports.
How the air traffic control cuts could mean more passengers coming through St. Louis. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch. A federal judge orders the Trump administration to fully fund government food benefits this month.
Missouri's Attorney General adds another count to her lawsuit to oust St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. After a cloudy start, sunshine returns today. Breezy and warm this afternoon, high 72.
We have the latest in sports for you from Matt Pauley. Stick around at the Tone at 6 o'clock.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. A new round of turmoil begins for airline passengers. Correspondent Jared Hill has our top story.
Anxiety and delays growing at airports nationwide.
I'm like, am I going to get to my destination? Am I going to make it back from my destination?
Starting today, airlines are scrambling to cut hundreds, if not thousands of flights a day to hit the FAA's target of gradually reducing air traffic at 40 of the nation's biggest airports by next week.
I'm kind of making contingency plans to drive the whole way if I need to.
The goal, alleviate pressures due to a surge in sick calls from air traffic controllers working without pay because of the federal government shutdown.
Nick Daniels is president of the National Air Traffic Controllers Association.
They're worried about putting gas in their car. They're worried about putting food on the table. They can't even pay for childcare in some instances.
Day 38 and a potential Senate vote could test Democrats' willingness to budge on a funding bill. President Trump predicts Republicans are not.
The shutdown is caused by the Democrats, and we're not going to spend $1 trillion or $1.5 trillion on health care for people that came into our country illegally, many of them from prisons and many of them drug dealers and murderers.
The Justice Department is appealing after a federal judge ordered the Trump administration to fully restore SNAP food benefits by today. They ran out last weekend. New Jersey's Democratic Congressman Josh Gottheimer.
Let's give dollars back to families, be able to buy food again to feed their kids.
Recipients have not received partial funding yet, dispersed by the Agriculture Department earlier this week. The death toll in Tuesday's fiery UPS cargo plane crash in Louisville has climbed to 13. 9 people are still missing. The NTSB is zeroing in on the aircraft's maintenance record. CBS's Tom Hansen spoke with the board's Todd Inman.
We've seen reports that it needed repairs. How confident are investigators that those repairs satisfied the safety criteria for this plane to fly?
We have a number of MD-11 pilots and mechanics that are all certified or instructors. So I feel very comfortable that those experts are going to be able to see if any repairs should have been done or not.
Elon Musk could be on his way to becoming the world's first trillionaire.
And CEO Elon Musk, with over 75% voting in favor.
Tesla shareholders have agreed to pay a record-setting package for the richest person in the world. If he meets the milestones, Musk will get 25% control over the company and as much as $1 trillion in additional stock. The vote was considered a referendum on his vision to shift Tesla's focus to humanoid robots and artificial intelligence. This is CBS News.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Take the next step forward in your career with great benefits and an award-winning workplace. Apply at careers.progressive.com.
At 6:03, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, November 7th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. These are the stories making news. The air traffic cuts at major U.S. airports are taking effect. What's the impact on St. Louis? KMOX's Michael Calhoun takes a look.
Lambert Airport is not directly impacted by this. St. Louis is not on the is trimming traffic, but that doesn't mean there isn't a spillover effect. First of all, if you've got somebody who's flying in from one of these airports, they could be delayed. Also, flights out, we're seeing on the big board, are delayed to some of these impacted airports. But there could be a more indirect impact as well, because to fly to Florida but connect through Atlanta, and that flight is one of those that gets cut. They could be redirected, especially if they're on Southwest, which has a connection point in St. Louis. They could be redirected to a flight that goes through St. Louis and still gets them to their ultimate destination. That takes up seats, means flights leaving St. Louis could be more full.
A direct flight launching between St. Louis and London next spring is coming at the perfect time.
There's Route 66 and also America 250 and FIFA. Let's not forget FIFA. So there's a lot that is going to bring kind of once in a lifetime attention to the United States generally and St. Louis specifically.
Kat Neville of Explore St. Louis tells KMOX a St. Louis delegation is traveling to London next month to lay the foundation for messages aimed to make St. Louis more than a stopover for Brits.
Attorney General Catherine Hanaway is adding another count to her lawsuit to oust St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. The new charge claims Montgomery has forfeited his office because he is currently in federal jail and unable to perform his duties. This new accusation joins a long list of previous allegations, including misusing taxpayer money to transport his children and illegally handcuffing a city jail official. A judge has already temporarily removed Montgomery from office.
Missouri plans to issue partial November SNAP benefits.
The Missouri Department of Social Services says it has received official guidance from the federal government allowing partial funding to issue November food stamp benefits. The agency says it is working with its vendor to distribute benefits quickly and will share more details as they are made available. How much Missouri families will be getting is unknown. Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page sticking by his embattled health director.
The job Dr. Kanika Cunningham has done operating the St. Louis County Animal Care and Control Shelter has drawn scrutiny, with the county council voting no confidence in her at their last meeting. Despite that vote, County Executive Page remains firm in supporting her.
She's transformed the Animal Care and Control and Pet Adoption Center. It's a lot better than it's ever been. And we're pretty happy with her progress.
Page says the main issue is the shelter remains underfunded. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
Younger generations are thinking critically about how they interact in the digital world. SIU Carbondale doctoral student Franklin Kimmel tells KMOX's Total Information AM peer-to-peer discussions are critical.
I think that this is something that is really impacting students of this age, these young college students and high school students as well, that again are digital natives because of the time that they grew up in. And so this idea of influence coming from multiple spaces is really, really important. Looking at the technologies that we use in our daily lives, but also the way that things like politics and culture and even our own peers influence the way that we think.
Kimmel is organizer of a student-led forum on social media influencers.
It's slow going in the Del Mar Maker District after the May tornado's direct hit. Hustle Hospitality CEO Danny Eichenhorst says some of the businesses are not going to reopen. Her fountain on Del Mar and Steve's Hot Dogs are open, but
we're about 30 to 50% under what it takes to keep our doors open. We are effectively taking a loss every day that we open our business, but we're trying to hold on because we saw a vision for this neighborhood and we really want to see that happen.
A fundraiser this summer raised about $100,000 for some of the business owners. They're kicking off Dollars for Del Mar in December, although people can contribute online right now.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. Ameren's profits up 40%. The company says a massive surge in data center demand is the reason. The utility, which just signed agreements for 3 gigawatts of new data center capacity, is projecting strong 5.5% annual growth. There's lots of political concern over rate hikes these days, but Ameren says these large users are required by law to pay their fair share of the costs.
It's the end of the line for an annual publication that's been around for more than 200 years. I'm Peter King.
That story's coming your way after traffic and weather. It's 6:08.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-293-8030. That's 800-293-8030. 800-293-8030.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving was the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
At Audion Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It's 6:10. Let's see how things are rolling out there. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's just roadwork delays, Megan, is all we have to worry about right now. Thankfully, nothing else on the interstate causing a problem so far. Eastbound 70, you've got that slow traffic. Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area. It looks a little busy at Wright City, not quite as bad through there. North 55 still not bad at 67. On the Illinois side, you've got roadwork both sides of Greenmount Road, so approaching and then leaving Greenmount in eastbound 64. And in the afternoons, we get the westbound delays, so, expect more of the same there. More of the same downtown as well. No delays yet, but we do have those left lanes still closed. That's through Monday at noon, I believe. The left lane's closed eastbound at the Illinois end of the Poplar, and then they've also got roadwork set up now, and just a little bit of a slowdown here. Eastbound 5570 between Exchange and 203. The 3 left lanes are closed. Only 1 lane open now, and that'll be till 3 p.m. They'll put up 2 lanes for the afternoon commute, but again, you're going to have more headaches getting into Illinois this afternoon to start off your weekend, unfortunately. Next update at 6:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A big change is on the way this weekend. We'll start out warm today as clouds give way to increasing amounts of sunshine. It'll become breezy or high 72. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 45. Clouding up tomorrow, it'll become breezy in the afternoon with a late day shower or two, the high 65 to 69. Then windy and sharply colder for Sunday. Clouds give way to some sun, the high, though, only 42 with AccuWeather the real field temperatures, mostly in the 20s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Right now, we've got cloudy skies, 59 degrees downtown, and the weather sponsored by Chuck's Boots, the Midwest's largest boot stores. Boots for every walk of life, rugged work boots, stylish fashion, comfortable hiking boots, cowboy classics, uniform boots, motorcycle gear. Chuck's Boots in Fenton and St. Peter's, chucksboots.com.
More news now at 6:12. Flights at 40 major airports will be cut in order to reduce flights by up to 10% to ease pressure on unpaid air traffic controllers during the ongoing government shutdown. Hundreds of flights have already been canceled at various airports, including at New York, Los Angeles, and Chicago. Christina Manickas is at Denver International Airport to fly to Florida.
I'm not worried yet. I might be in 10 days, but I might have to turn into a beach bum for a couple days. So I guess we'll see.
A local doctor welcomes President Trump's deal with drug makers to provide obesity medications like Ozempic, Zepbound, and Wegovy at significantly reduced prices.
My practice is full of people that would really benefit from a drug like Ozempic.
Dr. Fred Buckhold is a SNU care general internist at SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital.
When people do get it for various reasons or they can afford it, I don't think I've seen something like this in my practice. I mean, you see somebody that's heavy, that has high blood pressure, they have diabetes or borderline diabetes. They're not able to exercise because of joint pain because of the extra weight they're on. And they lose 50, 60 pounds and it's life-changing.
The agreement is expected to lower the price of obesity drugs to $149 a month in some cases. At the same time, the Medicare copays for those drugs could be lowered to $50. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
When children in the foster care system are moved from place to place, their belongings are often put into garbage bags for transport. Charles Biscuit Smith created a foundation called My Life in a Bag to give those kids luggage instead.
We're giving them back their dignity. We're giving them hope. And we're letting them know we really love you and you ought to be loved. So here's the opportunity to show you that. And then they get to see that, okay, the community gave us all this. Yes.
As a fundraiser to buy more luggage for foster kids, My Life in a Bag is hosting an art gala this Saturday night at Christian Northeast Hospital on Dunn Road. It's $250 a ticket. It will provide one child with a real bag and not a trash bag.
It's the end of the line for an annual publication that's been around for more than 200 years.
It's been around since 1818.
Let's consult the 2026 Farmer's Almanac Extended Winter Weather Forecast.
But the 208th edition will be its last. Farmer's Almanac has long been known for its long-range weather forecasts and other features, and as recently as 2017, the company reported more than 2 million copies sold. Farmer's Almanac's publisher says it's ending its long run because of financial challenges of producing and distributing the book in a chaotic media environment. Peter King, CBS News.
I'm Sean Malone. I speak with the one cop assigned for patrolling Kinloch daily about the efforts to reduce illegal dumping. Hear that conversation coming up.
And that's coming up at 6:22. It's now 6:15.
To say the Blues needed a win and a good performance last night would be a massive understatement, but they get it, going to Buffalo and shutting out the Sabres by a 3-0 score. Jordan Kyrou doesn't even play in the game as he is a healthy scratch. At one point in the contest, Robert Thomas is essentially taken off the ice. Jim Montgomery trying to make a statement with who he's playing. The Blues get the 3-0 win. Huge game for Matthew Joseph. A shorthanded goal and 2 assists. They get goals from Justin Falk. They also get a goal from Nick Bjugstad. And Joel Hofer makes 28 saves in his third NHL shutout. He made some spectacular saves. And Montgomery, speaking after the game, said that Hofer's play lifted the whole team.
He had a great save there, his first save of the game. Great glove save. And I think the bench got really up because of it, and I think we got energy from it, and then he just was solid all night long.
Up next for the Blues, a 4-game homestand. It begins tomorrow when they take on Seattle. Billikens basketball, 108-86 win against Chicago State last night. That sounds good. However, in the final 7.5 minutes of the game, the Billikens really struggle from a defensive standpoint, and they allowed Chicago State to score a lot of points, 46 second-half points for Chicago State. And as Josh Schertz spoke on the radio postgame show here on KMOX, he talked about the fact that he really wants his team to learn the value of every single possession.
Good teams and good players, the circumstances don't dictate your effort. The circumstances don't dictate your execution. We're up 36. That's great. Let's win by 50. Right. Like good teams, it doesn't matter. You play the possession in front of you with everything you have to play the possession in front of you the right way, as hard as you can, with a level of intensity and physicality and focus. We talk about all the time stacking possessions. The last 7.5 minutes, we did not do that.
Ishan Sharma led the way, scoring 16 points. That was a career high. He was 5 of 8 on 3-point shots. Kellen Thames, Robbie Avila each scored 15. Quinton Jones scoring 14. Billikens are back at it. They're going to match up against Lindenwood coming up on Monday. Speaking of Lindenwood, they do pick up a victory last night as they knock off the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy 116-51. Some college basketball going on tonight. Missouri is hosting Southeast Missouri State. Illinois is hosting Florida Gulf Coast, and Southern Illinois, they are going to be matched up against Kansas City. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, Alec Burleson winning the Silver Slugger for the utility position. And the Cardinals also clear a number of players off the 40-man roster. Michael Ciani, he's claimed by the Braves. Pitcher Rodri Munoz being claimed by the Reds. Also, Zach Thompson and Anthony Veneziano being outrighted. They become free agents, while Brian Torres was selected to the 40-man roster. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
There's nothing like when you get that part from eBay and it just fits. Yeah, the first time. So you can do less of this and get right back to more of this. At eBay, you'll find all the parts you need, guaranteed to fit, at prices you'll love. Sounds good, doesn't it? eBay, things people love.
Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
An official message from Medicare.
Medicare plans change from one year to the next. And this year, it's important for you to review your current coverage and compare all your options during Medicare open enrollment. Compare health plans, drug coverage, and costs. See if you can save some money, and don't forget to make sure your drugs are covered. Open enrollment ends December 7th. Visit Medicare.gov or call 1-800-MEDICARE.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
The holidays are here, filled with laughter, family, and memories. But if you're missing the punchline, the conversation, or even the music, it might be time to check your hearing. Hi, I'm Charlie Brennan.
I'm Dr. Bosler with the Audiology Center.
And I'm Dr. Voss. This season, we want you to hear every moment.
Hearing aids today can process sound faster than before. They're smarter at separating the speech from the background noise, meaning that when you're at the holiday parties this season, you'll hear the voices that you want to hear, clearer than before.
So don't wait until the new year. Give yourself the gift of better hearing today and reconnect with the people and the moments that matter most.
Call the Audiology Center, 636-441-7470, or online, theaudiologycenterstl.com. 3 convenient locations.
Call us today and make this holiday season better than last year's. Here for the holidays, here for life.
The fun. It's the Dave Glover Show on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, it's 6:20. This is Total Information AM. I'm Debbie Monterrey, along with Megan Lynch and Roger Brand, who joins us from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we're doing okay on the runs in, Debbie, really, just exception of road work. Now, we did have a stall downtown, eastbound 44 past Jefferson in the left lane, but it looks like they may have cleared that. I'm not seeing any delay through there right now. A little more traffic out there, but it's still not bad. Northbound 55, just a little slow. Weber Road up to River to Pear in that work zone. Of course, out to the west, there's slow traffic on eastbound 70 from Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area as you get in through that construction area. And on the Illinois side, a little bit of a backup on eastbound 64 Greenmount, most of the way to 158. And I mentioned they're doing road work now on 5570 between Exchange and 203. Only one lane is open. The 3 left lanes are closed. There's a little delay as you approach Exchange there, and the ramp from westbound 64 onto eastbound is going to be closed, and that's all weekend long. They're going to have restrictions out there at that location as well now. Next update at 6:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy start to the day today. We should see a little sunshine today. Later on, breezy and warm for the afternoon, a high 72. Clear to partly cloudy and cooler tonight. An overnight low of 45. And then tomorrow, cloudy skies, breezy with a shower late in the day, a high near 69. Right now, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch.
The news continues at 6:21. Kinloch, once Missouri's first all-black city, has been long treated as an illegal dumping ground by outsiders looking to offload their trash. Meet Graham Heidemann, the lone cop tasked with patrolling the town daily while the region continues cleanup efforts. He joined Sean Malone, who asked him how he felt when he was first given this tall order.
I have a lot of connection to the city of Kinloch. Before I became a police officer, I was actually a firefighter EMT. I actually volunteered at the fire department here in Kinloch for several years before I became a police officer. So I've got a lot of connection here to the city of Kinloch. So when they were looking for a contract officer, I was glad to step up for it, and building the connections that I have with the residents here. Actually, they were requesting me specifically to our captain.
Can you give me a number? How many arrests have you made involving illegal dumping so far?
There's been quite a few. Mostly what we're doing is we're handling them as a summons in lieu. Basically, it's a ticket. Basically, it's considered a formal arrest, but we're not actually taking them down to the county jail. That's been the majority of my so-called arrests with them. There have been a couple that I've catched in progress, and those are full custody arrests. I tow their vehicle, I tow their trailer, and that's how we handle those situations.
I don't need an exact, but can you give me a rough number on how many of those incidents there have been? Are we talking tens? Are we talking 100 over the month?
Probably since August, I've probably had at least 15 to 20 illegal dumping incidents that have ultimately led to the location of a suspect and the issuance of a citation or a full custody arrest.
Is there anything that's been dumped that you found to just be ridiculous or stood out amongst the rest in any way? I remember seeing when the cleanup first started in August, there were mattresses still wrapped together, meant that they didn't just come from one person getting rid of a mattress. It was a distributor of some sorts getting rid of a stack of them. Is there anything that stood out to you saw being dumped?
Mattresses are definitely one of the big things. I think a lot of people struggle with appropriately disposing of mattresses. So why the initial thought of bringing it out here, originally came to be, I'm not too sure. But no, I found all kinds of stuff. Right up the hill right now, they just cleaned it up. There was a hot tub. Somebody just cut a hot tub in half and dumped one side on one side of the road and the other half on the other side of the road. Construction debris is a big one. Basically, I find a lot of, it looks to me like house cleanouts. Somebody either moves, gets evicted, whatever the case might be, and they need to get rid of whatever stuff. So I find a lot of clothing, boxes, things like that out here.
You've obviously, from even beyond these last couple of months, long experience with Kinloch. How has this cleanup effort since August gone? Is it making progress?
Absolutely. The biggest thing is the overall health of the community and the happiness of the residents. You can see when we're out here doing these cleanups, when we're making a difference, we're making a visible difference. The residents are much happier because they're the ones that have to live with this every day. They're the ones that are having to drive past these piles of trash. As you heard from one of the residents, sometimes even having to stop their vehicle and move the trash to even get through. It's not only just a way of life issue, but it's a safety issue. If we have these spaces that have been completely filled with trash and the fire trucks can't get by, or I can't get by for an emergency response or anything like that, that's a problem. That takes time away from that emergency response, and sometimes that can be life and death.
I believe they said that you even had some of the dumpers get involved in the cleanup and at least coming back and picking up what they've dumped.
Absolutely. Because ultimately it comes down to the only way the items are going to get cleaned up is either by the city itself or during these volunteer days. So if I can hold these dumpers responsible, most of the time they're cooperative with coming back and picking it up. They know they did wrong. They made a mistake. They realize, hey, I shouldn't have dumped it here. And I give them that opportunity to make right. They still are held accountable. They're still issued the summonses for illegal dumping. But what I do is I notate their willingness and cooperation with my investigation to come back and make right, to clean up their items and dispose of it properly.
It is 6:26, and that is Sean Malone speaking with Officer Graham Heidemann about the cleanup in Kinloch. It is 6:26, and that time check sponsored for you by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Discover the life you want at Fairwinds River's Edge in St. Charles. We deliver a life-enhancing environment that nourishes the mind, body, and spirit as residents lean into joy and embrace purpose in a new age of senior living. Simply put, we have your back so you can put your best foot forward. Join us Wednesday, December 3rd for our holiday craft fair, followed by happy hour with BB Boomers. Visit Fairwinds River's Edge on Facebook to learn more.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. So as you know, I'm a lawyer, haven't practiced in a long time, but I did plaintiff's work and defense work, so I have a pretty good understanding of it. I have a pretty good idea of who's who in the firmament of plaintiffs' attorneys. And for my money, Mark Cantor is the guy. He's a great attorney. He is a great practitioner. He's put together a great team. He was born and raised here. He lives here. He works here. He wins here. Call 314-628-ALL-9s or CantorInjuryLaw.com. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based on advertising.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Renewal by Andersen is the #1 window and door brand for customer service. Schedule your free inspection today. Call 877-WINDOWS. That's 877-WINDOWS. Or head to rbastl.com.
The voice of St. Louis is turning 100.
KMOX Radio in St. Louis.
Join us as we celebrate all the legendary voices.
This is KMOX.
This is KMOX.
KMOX. The voice of St. Louis.
Groundbreaking programming.
A new concept at your service.
And unforgettable moments that defined a century.
His name is Charles A. Lindbergh. Ahead, 3,600 miles to Paris.
Through every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis.
At 6:30, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and here is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, still not bad on a Friday. There's a little more traffic out there, but really just a couple of slowdowns for the most part. Eastbound 70 from Warrenton into the Wright City Rest area. There's some slow traffic in that construction zone, a little bit busy. Southbound 61, a little volume right there as you approach Wentzville Parkway. If you're on northbound 270, it's a little slow approaching Manchester and approaching Clayton Road in the right lanes after that. Northbound 55 looks good through Butler Hill. It's just a little busy north of Bayless up to River to Pear. Again, just a little bit of a slowdown there. A little slowdown eastbound 5570 east of 64. It's down to one lane between there and 203 right now. And there's a roadwork backup. The only backup we have currently, eastbound 64 approaching Greenmount. It opens up as you get midway around the bend to 158. There's a report of an overturned semi southbound 55 near Highway 32. That's the St. Genevieve exit, so we'll try to keep tabs on that. But right now, traffic looks okay in the area there. Next update at 6:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Cloudy skies this morning, more sunshine as the day goes on. Breezy and warm this afternoon. Expect a high of 72. Clear and partly cloudy, cooler tonight. An overnight low of 45. Right now, cloudy skies, 64 degrees in downtown St. Louis.
New school performance data shows St. Louis County and St. Charles districts are clustered in the state's highest tier.
Fort Zumwalt leads the group with 96% as a total score, followed by Clayton at 94.2% and Lindbergh at 93.5%. A larger pack of major districts, including Parkway, Ladue, Francis Howell, and Rockwood, are all grouped just behind, scoring about 90% or higher. The data reveals a pattern for the high performance. These districts earned 100% of the possible points in the core categories of English, math, science, and graduation rate. The only metric holding them back from perfect scores is attendance, where most earned 75%. That is still in stark contrast to the 0-point attendance scores earned, for instance, by St. Louis Public Schools. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Parents as Teachers National Center today is dedicating the new Show Me Strong Families Christopher Kidd Bond Center. It's located on South Grand in the Shaw neighborhood and will serve as a dedicated trauma-informed facility for early childhood and family support. Show Me Strong Families serves more than 350 families each year, 88% of whom face multiple life stressors such as housing instability, unemployment, and food insecurity. An open house begins at noon with a noon dedication.
Social media is buzzing with phrases like Ozempic body and Ozempic face.
Behind the catchy terms is a real medical phenomenon, rapid weight loss. Dr. Thomas Wilson, an assistant professor of plastic surgery at MU Healthcare, says rapid weight loss causes sagging of the skin. However, these changes are not exclusive to Ozempic or other weight loss drugs.
We see it in patients who've had weight loss surgery as well. It's less common in people who
purely have lifestyle changes, at least in my experience. And the reason for that is that they tend to lose weight less rapidly than people who have medication-assisted or surgical-assisted weight loss.
Wilson tells Missouri Net rapid weight loss from strict diet and exercise can lead to the same effects. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
This news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. It's 6:33.
Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. Have you noticed loose bricks or missing mortar around your house, on the walls, the patios, the walkways, the porch, or the chimneys? If so, you need to call Morelli Tuck Pointing. 314-645-1387. You might need one of two things: solid tuck pointing, the removal of old mortar with the replacement of new mortar throughout an entire wall or chimney, or maybe just spot tuck pointing. Spot tuck pointing involves the tuck pointing of a particular wall, a chimney, or other masonry surface in an area where it's needed the most. One example might be settlement cracks, usually found above or below windows or doorways. 314-645-1387. Call the company that the Brennans have called when we've needed tuck pointing. Morelli Tuck Pointing, the masonry specialists. Winner of the Angie's List Super Service Award every year since 2005. 314-645-1387, MorelliTuckPointing.com.
It is 6:34, and that means it's time for your money report. It is sponsored this hour by Eamon Gantner and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The makers of blockbuster weight loss drugs have secured a big deal at the White House. Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk agreeing to slash the prices on their popular Zepbound and Wegovy shots. This is in exchange for tariff relief and wider access to Medicare. Under the deal with President Trump, the price of Wegovy and Zepbound under Medicare will be $245 a month. The S&P 500 has dropped more than 1% twice this week, as some of big tech's AI spending has spooked investors. Shares of NVIDIA suffered a 3.7% sell-off yesterday. This morning, the CEO, Jensen Huang, says the company has no plans to ship its Blackwell AI chips to China. Well, shares of PopMart International, maker of the Labubu toy, fell to their lowest level since May after a live stream incident. There's a viral clip in which a PopMart employee appears to question the value of a blind box item during a Thursday live stream. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
It's a weekend, which means there probably will be some open houses. Is that how you want to sell your home? That is the traditional way, of course. A realtor comes, puts a sign in your yard, puts out some marketing materials, and then you have an open house and people tromp through and you hope you get a bite. Well, that is a way to do it. But if you're looking for other ways, or maybe you have a unique situation, or you just want to sell really quickly, call Gloria Liu of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Gloria Liu guarantees in writing that she'll sell your home at the price and time frame you both agree upon, or she'll buy it herself. But maybe you don't want to go that traditional route. You just want to sell it quickly. You want an instant cash offer. She can do that too, but she goes way better than the other folks who offer cash offers. Instead of just giving you one, take it or leave it, she'll offer you several, maybe more, and you choose the best offer for you. If you have to move out of town already, Gloria and her team can handle everything in your absence. I mean, she sells more than just a few homes a year. She sells hundreds of homes a year, and yours could be next. 314-325-6888. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. Find her online now at gloriahasthebuyers.com.
Sponsored by Progressive. We make the claims process easy so you can get back on the road in no time. It's why over 43 million drivers trust Progressive. See for yourself at progressive.com.
KMOX, your place for NCAA football play. Saturday, as LSU faces Alabama. Pre-game at 6, kick at 6:30. Hear it here on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 6:38. If you've been wanting to check out the newly renovated Powell Hall, your opportunity is tomorrow. The St. Louis Symphony Orchestra opening up its house to the community from 10 until 6. There are tours. During that time, there will be musicians and performances, including the St. Louis Symphony Youth Orchestra, Grand Center Arts Academy Jazz Band, Chamber Music Society, Black Rep, and more. Food trucks will also be on site.
The Full Moon Festival takes place tomorrow at Schlafly Bottle Works in Maplewood. The all-day fest includes the chili cook-off sanctioned by the International Chili Society. Professional judges will award one golden ticket winner. Festival goers get to vote as well and determine the People's Choice winner. Both of those winners will go on to compete at the World Championship Chili Cook-Off in 2026. I've just had a hankering for chili. Must be the fall weather.
I started cooking chili like when it was still warm because I just was so ready for it. I was apologizing to my family. I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't care if it's 80. I'm ready for chili.
I am ready. My daughter was always the big cooker of chili in our household. And since she is away at college, I'm like, can you send me your chili recipe? Because I need somebody to make me chili. All right, it is time for us to check the roadways. It's not too chilly out there this morning. It's actually 59 degrees out there, so not too bad. We'll get the forecast for you from Joe Lundberg in just a moment. But first, here's Roger Brandon, the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And this traffic report is a service of Overhead Door Company of St. Louis. Debbie, just a little busier on the highways. Northbound 55, a little slow between Bayless and Weber. It's a little busy in a couple of spots on northbound 270 between Doherty Ferry and Manchester. Doesn't look that bad. Eastbound 64 coming through Research Park. Looks like a little volume there. Eastbound 70, a slowdown. Warrenton, not even really midway into the Wright City rest area right now, so it's not terrible. Downtown, a little bit of a delay. Eastbound 55, 70 east to 64. Again, it's down to one lane eastbound through there due to road work. That's going to be all weekend long. Now, after 3 p.m., they're going to open up an additional lane, but again, it's going to be an additional headache for the drive home. The only jam we have right now currently is eastbound 64 east of 50 through Greenmount Road, bumper to bumper through that construction zone. It opens up before you get even midway into 158. An unfolding situation down south of us, southbound 55 at Highway 32. That's the main highway going into Cape Girardeau. An overturned tanker truck between the highway and the ramp. It is an overturned tanker truck filled with ammonium nitrate gel, and it is leaking. So they've called out a bunch of fire crews to deal with that scene, so they may find some restrictions there. Next update at 6:50 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic.
This report is sponsored by Overhead Door Company of St. Louis.
Attention veterans and active military. Overhead Door Company of St. Louis is giving veterans and active military 10% off all month. That's 10% off all doors, openers, and any service or repair. Schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Let's check back in with AccuWeather's Joe Lundberg. Joe, it looks like temperatures are going to bounce back and forth over the next few days.
Oh, they certainly are. In fact, it's going to be chilly weather on Sunday. In fact, you probably saw the picture I posted on Facebook yesterday of the chili that I was eating for lunch. Oh, that tasted so good. You're going to want something warm to keep you warm Sunday, Monday, and into Tuesday. A blast of Arctic air is coming our way. We're going to see basically a 30-degree drop in temperatures from the highs of today to what we're going to see on Sunday. And there's going to be wind accompanying this change. Now, today, a cloudy start, some sunshine returns. It'll be breezy and warm up to 72. Tonight, fair skies, cooler down to 45. Clouds up tomorrow, maybe an afternoon shower, the high 65 to 69. Then a front whips through the area tomorrow and temperatures plummet. Windy, much, much colder Sunday. Clouds give way to some sun, but we're only going to get to 42 with real feels in the 20s. A cold day Monday despite sunshine again, low 40s. We bounce back into the mid-50s with some sunshine on Tuesday. 61 at St. Peter's, 62 in Florissant, mostly cloudy, 60 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
All right, thanks, Joe. We have sports with Matt Pauley coming your way in 2 minutes. It is 6:43. A federal judge in Chicago issued an injunction yesterday that restricts the use of force of federal agents. WBBM's Andy Dane has the latest.
The ruling from federal judge Sarah Ellis comes after days of testimony regarding Operation Midway Blitz, during which Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino and supervisors defended the use of tear gas, pepper spray, and more during protests in the Chicago area. Bovino called his agents' work, quote, more than exemplary. Ellis, however, called much of the evidence for the use of force not credible and enacted permanent restrictions on what force immigration agents can use moving forward.
The former Justice Department employee who threw a wrapped sandwich at a Customs and Border Patrol officer has been found not guilty of assault. Sean Dunn's lawyers arguing it was a harmless gesture during an act of protest against the Trump administration's influx of federal law enforcement into D.C.
I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants.
The International Institute showing their support of immigrant entrepreneurs.
They're awarding an Afghan immigrant with a grant of $20,000. Blake Hamilton, president of the St. Louis International Institute, tells KMOX St. Louis sends this message.
People have a place here in St. Louis and that they can build their lives and build their dreams here in St. Louis. Not every community has opportunities to support folks the way we do.
The recipients, Mudasir Ibrahim Heel, tells KMOX this grant will help him buy a new food truck for his business, Cobbleburger.
New one is like 40,000, 45,000. So when you want to buy a second hand, it will be like 15,000 or 20,000.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The Supreme Court considering arguments on whether President Trump has the authority to impose tariffs on nearly every country using emergency powers. This could have a significant impact on the global economy and may also set some limits on presidential power. CBS News correspondent Jan Crawford reports some California winemakers welcome the tariffs.
California grape growers see those tariffs as one way to help keep them in business. Jeff Bitter, president of Allied Grape Growers, says because the European wine industry gets billions in government subsidies, tariffs could help American wineries, which are at a competitive disadvantage.
It is 6:45.
Billikens basketball, they put up 108 points last night in defeating Chicago State 108-86. They are led in scoring by Ishan Sharma. He finishes with 16 points. Kellen Thames and Robbie Avila each had 15. Quentin Jones with 14 at one point. The Billikens go on a 22-0 run. They would lead by as many as 36, but they allow Chicago State to score 46 second-half points, many of those coming in the final 7.5 minutes of the game. Head coach Josh Schertz speaking after the game to Bob Ramsey and Earl Austin Jr. He makes it clear he did not like the way his team finished.
That's not acceptable. The selfish offense, guys turning guys down, open guys. Defense, I thought we played defense just to get back on offense. When we got up 36, that is not, we got outscored 14 points there. We gave up almost 30 points last 7 minutes. That's not who we're going to be. The selfish and soft and not guarding and basically running defense so we can get the ball back and stat chase and all that stuff. That ain't happening.
Billikens back at it on Monday night when they match up against Lindenwood. 7 o'clock start right here on KMOX. Other college basketball this evening. Missouri is hosting Southeast Missouri. Illinois basketball matching up against Florida Gulf Coast, and Southern Illinois will be at home against Kansas City. The Blues needed a result last night, and they get it in Buffalo as they knock off the Sabres 3-0. This comes one day after a non-competitive effort against the Washington Capitals. Prior to the game, Jordan Kyrou was selected as a non-participant in the game. He was a healthy scratch watching the game from the press box. Blues get a big game from Matthew Joseph. He has a goal, a shorthanded goal, and also assist on the other 2 goals. After the game, head coach Jim Montgomery said he really liked a lot about the way his team played.
Majority of the game that the effort was significantly better than yesterday. I thought the physicality was good. I liked the way we dug in. I liked the way there was numerous block shots, and our goaltender was our best player, and that's what you need on the road.
Justin Falk and Nick Bukestad also scoring for the Blues, who are going to get back at it, opening up a homestand against Seattle coming up on Saturday night. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, Alec Burleson wins the Silver Slugger Award at the utility position. He becomes the first Cardinal to win a Silver Slugger Award since Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado won them in 2020. 2022. The Cardinals also making some roster moves. They put on waivers Michael Ciani and Rodri Munoz. Those two players are selected, as Ciani claimed off waivers by the Braves, Munoz by the Reds. They also outright left-handed pitchers Anthony Veneziano and Zach Thompson. They become minor league free agents, and Brian Torres was selected onto the 40-man roster. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Because we have lawyers in all 50 states, I see lots of lawyers' ads. Most seem to be bragging on results, but are they true or misleading? For example, in some cases, a firm may try a case even though the at-fault party has no lawyer, then brag in the ad about their results. My son Matt got one for nearly $50 million, but we never collected one dime. Some lawyers may say they got a result even though they were sitting second chair at a firm like mine, and even though they had little to do with it. Happens all the time. All that glitters is not gold. At Morgan & Morgan, our results are real. Visit forthepeople.com and go to settlements and verdicts to see for yourself what your case may be worth before you hire a law firm. Do your homework. Fact check. It's easy and too important not to. Morgan & Morgan, forthepeople.com.
Injured? Dial Pound Law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Chesterfield Valley Nursery invites you to make your own live holiday decor this year in our Winter Planter class happening on November 22nd. Sign up today on our website or Facebook. Learn how to put together a live evergreen porch planter. Registration required. Spots fill up fast. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com. That's November 22nd. ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com to register.
Help KMOX make the holiday season brighter for St. Louis area children by supporting TSO Tuesdays, benefiting Sightman kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. On Tuesdays, Sugar Fire will donate a portion of their TSO Tuesday special to Sightman kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. And don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra, The Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. Get your tickets today for this holiday tradition. All you need to know at KMOX.com.
Total Information AM. The news continues on 104.1 FM KMOX.
6:50. Last time we talked to Roger, there were some problems on southbound 55 headed toward Cape Girardeau. Let's get the latest now. He's in the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Yeah, they're out there dealing with it right now, Megan. I don't see any highway delays, and that's the good news. Southbound 55 at 32. I believe it's on the exit ramp, but maybe on the on-ramp. But the overturned tanker truck loaded with ammonium nitrate gel is between the ramp and the highway, and it is leaking. It's cargo. Now, the fire department just said you have to remain 150 feet, I believe they said feet away from it. So it's leaking, but, I guess they'll have to have the ramp closed. Maybe they'll have a lane closed on the highway. Right now, I don't see any delays through the area, so that's the good news. There's a minor crash northbound 55. I guess I'll call it south of Highway M. It's midway between Z and M. The fire department pumper's blocking the right lane, but it looks like a pretty minor incident on the shoulder. Other than those issues on 55, there's just some slow traffic north 270 through Doherty Ferry headed up toward Manchester. Eastbound 70, Lake St. Louis into Bryan Road looks a little busy. It's thinned out at Warrenton. Downtown, you have a little road work back up eastbound 5570 coming through 64. It's down to one lane eastbound between there and Exchange right now. And eastbound 64 east of 50 is bumper to bumper through Greenmount Road. Next update at 6:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
We are going to end up today with sunshine. It'll be breezy, 72 degrees. Then tomorrow, mostly cloudy with a shower late in the day tomorrow, a high in the mid to upper 60s. And then things get colder for Sunday with wind and some sunshine, a high of 42, but it's going to feel like it's in the 20s with that wind. So it's going to get pretty brisk. Right now, it's nice, though. It's cloudy and 59 degrees.
The news continues at 6:52. A convicted killer in Missouri seeking to have his death penalty tossed out.
57-year-old Craig Wood of Springfield, Missouri, was sentenced to death for kidnapping, raping, and murdering 10-year-old Haley Owens back in 2014. Wood's attorney argues that the prosecutor strongly implied that Haley's mother wanted Wood to be executed when she really wanted him to have life without parole. But Daniel McPherson with the Missouri Attorney General's office disagrees.
The prosecutor at no point ever explicitly said
any member of the family wanted a particular punishment, and certainly never said that any particular member of the family wanted to impose death.
The Missouri Supreme Court will issue a ruling at a later date. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
A block on Snapchat leads to felony charges against an 18-year-old Mizzou freshman. According to the probable cause statement, Maxwell Warren confronted another student who'd blocked him on the social media app, demanded he be added back. He was, but he allegedly in late October returned to the victim's dorm and strangled the person to unconsciousness. In another case, a witness reported seeing Warren assault a woman near a parking garage. He has been banned from campus and has a bond hearing set for Monday.
Following two high-profile gas explosions in the past year, Missouri's Attorney General is investigating utility companies. One explosion in North St. Louis County damaged more than 20 homes in August, while another near Kansas City killed a 5-year-old in April. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway demanding records to see if utilities are repeatedly failing to locate and mark their buried infrastructure as required by law. Hanaway says, quote, proper excavation practices save lives.
Fake Botox. I'm Fred Bottomer with 60 Seconds to Better Health. Federal health regulators have sent warnings to more than a dozen cosmetic websites selling counterfeit or unapproved versions of Botox and similar drugs.
The Food and Drug Administration sent warning letters to 18 websites selling counterfeit or unapproved versions of Botox after receiving reports of injuries, including toxic side effects. Botox is a diluted, purified form of one of the most toxic substances in the world. In rare cases, the toxin can spread beyond the injection site to other parts of the body, paralyzing or weakening muscles needed for breathing and swallowing. The FDA says patients should only receive the drugs from health professionals who are licensed and trained to administer them, and urges anyone experiencing signs of botulism to seek immediate medical care.
With 60 Seconds to Better Health, I'm Fred Bottomer.
I heard it's somebody's birthday.
Birthday excitement. It's your birthday.
Today's KMOX birthday shout out sponsored by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com.
We've got a lot of birthdays today, so let's get to these local birthdays. Mary Ann Helm, happy birthday from the Church Chicks. Al Peter Fesso from the Retirement Group. Sean Stone from Aunt Jeannie. Happy birthday wishes to Cammie Weber from the Spring family. Tommy O'Donnell, happy 14th from Grandma and Poppy. Happy 56 to Tim Jenkins from Mom, Krista, Dana, and Alec. Also, happy birthday wishes going out to Pat Rasky, Jerry Hefkin, Janet McAdams, Tom Hasse, Mike Chura, the twins, Carolyn Schaltenbrand and Marilyn Seaman. Donna Goodwin, happy birthday to you from the Life Group. Ashley Klaustermeyer, happy birthday to you from your mother-in-law. Happy birthday wishes also going out to Dr. Patricia Wolf, Jessica Kroc, J.B. Anderson, and the fabulous Ted Trabert.
This is the best birthday ever.
Get ready, Missouri. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook, is coming soon. December 1st, new customers in Missouri can get up to $300 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet. From touchdowns to homers to three-pointers, with FanDuel, any play can be the play of the game. Plus, with live betting, you can even get in on the action after the game has started, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. FanDuel is the best way to game day, and it's coming soon to Missouri. This way, you'll be all set to bet when FanDuel goes live in Missouri on December 1st. That's FanDuel.com/Missouri. Play your game with FanDuel, the #1 rated sports app. Must be 21 and over and present in Missouri. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Offer starts 12/1/2025. Excludes customers who redeem pre-launch sign-up offer. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, registered investment advisors. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Working full-time but still falling behind? Learn how real estate education can help you build income and get ahead on your terms. Text radio to 88007. That's RADIO to 88007. Presented by Lifestyles Unlimited.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far.
And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
It's almost 7 o'clock. Let's get you updated on your ride into work with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, fire crews are still out there with this crash, Megan, on northbound 55 between Z and M. It's about midway up the road there. The right lane is blocked by the fire department pumper. It looks pretty minor, and the fact that it's light enough traffic, I'm really not seeing any delays through there as you approach Highway M on northbound 55. It is a little slow at 67. After that, though, you're good to go. North 270, barely a slowdown around Manchester, and the right lane's a little busy through Clayton Road. Eastbound 70 between A and Lake St. Louis Boulevard, seeing a little bit of volume there. And on the Illinois side, eastbound 64, the only jam we have, it's currently 5570 eastbound at Exchange, a little slow to 203. It's down to one lane there. Next update at 7:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, November the 7th. I'm Debbie Monterrey. Government shutdown pain for passengers. Flights being cut starting today at 40 major U.S. airports.
How the air traffic control cuts could mean more passengers coming through St. Louis. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
I'm Megan Lynch. A federal judge orders the Trump administration to fully fund government food benefits this month.
Missouri's Attorney General adding another count to her lawsuit to oust St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. Increasing amounts of sunshine today, a warm breeze this afternoon, high 72.
The Blues got what they needed last night. We've got the latest on their win from Matt Pauley coming up at 7:15 at the Tone. It's 7 o'clock.
Celebrating 100 years of informing and entertaining. KMOX AM St. Louis, KMOX FM Hazelwood, the voice of St. Louis.
This is the CBS News World News Roundup, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. Day 38 of the government shutdown and FAA-ordered flight cuts are underway. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is defending the move, intended to alleviate stress on air traffic controllers, who've now missed 2 full paychecks. He tells CBS Mornings.
This was not a political decision. We did this with the safety team at the FAA. We did it with the administrator of the FAA. As that data came in, we decided to make the decisions that we thought were appropriate.
CBS's Chris Van Cleve is at the airport in Phoenix.
With thousands of flights set to be canceled at airports across the country this weekend, traveler frustration over the government shutdown and its impact is mounting.
It's going to probably increase flight times. It's going to increase flight prices.
Republicans, Democrats come together. And it appears many Americans are making backup plans to hit the road. Hertz reporting one-way rental reservations for this weekend are up 20% compared to last year at this time.
More than 1,400 flights have been delayed or canceled in the U.S. so far today. We're learning about a near miss just after 2 planes took off from LAX last week.
Hey, American 4, sorry about that. The traffic off the north side just turned to the south on their own right in front of you guys.
An ITA jet heading to Rome made a left turn toward an American Airlines plane to New York. An air traffic controller ordered the ITA flight to correct its path, steered the other away from danger. The death toll is up to 13 in Tuesday's UPS fiery cargo plane crash in Kentucky. 9 people still missing. Correspondent Tom Hansen is at the airport in Louisville.
Records showed the aircraft was grounded for more than 6 weeks in San Antonio, as service reports noted corrosion and at least 1 crack in a fuel tank that needed repair. The NTSB will also examine 63 hours worth of information recovered from the plane's flight data recorders.
A homeowner in Indiana shot and killed a cleaning woman who'd gone to the wrong house. Correspondent Michael Wallace.
Police say the residents thought their house in Whitestown was being broken into when 32-year-old Guatemalan immigrant Maria de Velasquez and her husband tried to open the front door. The homeowner called 911, but before police arrived, fired a single shot through the door. De Velasquez was shot in the head. The house she was supposed to clean was next door. Indiana is a stand-your-ground state. Prosecutors are deciding whether to file any charges.
Former NFL All-Pro wide receiver Antonio Brown's been extradited from Dubai to the U.S. He faces attempted murder charges in a shooting after a celebrity boxing match. Miami PD's Mike Vega.
AB was in Dubai posting videos of him riding a bike, kind of like mocking the fact that, hey, I left the United States.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
I can't believe how spotless my floors look after using the Swiffer Power Mop. No more dragging around a heavy mop and messy bucket. Now I get the same deep clean without all the work. Thanks to the powerful solution and scrubbing pad of the Swiffer Power Mop, dirt and grime don't stand a chance, and I don't break a sweat. Mic drop. Mop drop.
Swiffer Power Mop. Swiffer Power Mop.
A smarter way to mop. Try it or your money back.
At 7:04, we have cloudy skies, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, November 7th. I'm Megan Lynch.
And I'm Debbie Monterrey. We've been telling you about delays due to shortages in the air traffic control system during the government shutdown. KMOX's Michael Calhoun takes a look at the local impact.
Lambert Airport is not one of the airports that is directly affected by this. In fact, when you look at the map, it doesn't look like many airports that are within the Kansas City Midwest Regional Air Traffic Control Center are affected much by this, but that doesn't mean there isn't a spillover effect that'll be felt at Lambert Airport. Flights that are headed to these cities will be delayed. In fact, the flight board shows that many of those on airlines from American to Southwest to United are delayed at the airport. It could also mean that passengers who were slated to connect through one of these impacted airports might instead be switched to a flight that goes through St. Louis. So the existing flights that go through Lambert could be more packed than usual.
A direct flight launching between St. Louis and London next spring, coming at the perfect time.
There's Route 66 and also America 250 and FIFA. Let's not forget FIFA. So there's a lot that is going to bring kind of once in a lifetime attention to the United States generally and St. Louis specifically.
Kat Neville of Explore St. Louis tells KMOX a St. Louis delegation is traveling to London next month to lay the foundation for messages aimed to make St. Louis more than just a stopover for Brits.
Missouri Attorney General Catherine Hanaway adding a new charge in her effort to permanently oust Sheriff Alfred Montgomery from office. Hanaway announcing the new count is for failing to personally devote his time to the job. In a statement, Hanaway said it's impossible for Montgomery to fulfill his duties while he is incarcerated in federal jail. The new charge will be added to the existing lawsuit attempting to oust him, which already accuses the sheriff of corruption and neglect.
As local officials gather to clean up Kinloch, one man is tasked
illegal dumping incidents that have ultimately led to the location of a suspect and the issuance of a citation or a full custody arrest.
Heidemann says some of the dumpers he holds responsible come back to take their junk away and adds he is seeing progress in the cleanup efforts in recent months. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
A day after the St. Louis County Council voted no confidence in Dr. Kanika Cunningham running the Animal Care and Control Shelter, the county executive is still backing her. Dr.
Generations born into technology, so-called digital natives, have grown up immersed in digital interaction, and they say that's not necessarily a bad thing.
Maybe if they don't have a sense of community in their in real life experiences, that social media can be a place where they can maybe find community, build community.
Franklin Kimmel is a doctoral student and course coordinator in communication studies at Southern Illinois University, Carbondale. Kimmel says that online connection can sometimes extend to real life as people meet at places and events where they have shared interests. Kimmel was a guest on Total Information AM.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com, Amarin stock jumped about 2% yesterday after the company reported a 40% jump in quarterly profits and raised its earnings guidance for the year. The utility also boosted its long-term growth forecast, telling investors it expects a 5.5% annual growth rate through 2029. Amarin says this rosy outlook is driven almost entirely by robust data center demand, with 3 gigawatts of new construction agreements inked.
We do have some problems on the roads. We'll check traffic plus weather in 2 minutes. It's 7:08.
If you or anyone you care about is facing a family legal matter, call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL.
There's a lot on the line in divorce. This is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. But being big doesn't mean less personal or less local. Our attorneys live and work in your community, and as neighbors, they understand the challenges your families face. Divorce touches all areas of your life: your home, savings, retirement, and of course, kids. So when you find yourself facing divorce, you need a partner you can count on.
If you or anyone you care about is facing divorce, contact Cordell & Cordell today. With over 100,000 clients served, we understand the challenges you're facing on a personal level. Call Cordell & Cordell today at 1-855-GET-LEGAL. That's 1-855-GET-LEGAL. The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. 600 Kellwood, St. Louis.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants. So
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were
iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk. But Leaf Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leaf Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leaf Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts.
It is now 7:10 and time for us to get you traffic and weather. Here's Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, it's not terrible out there on a Friday morning, Debbie. We do have the right lane blocked for this crash, northbound 55. It's roughly midway between Z and Highway M, so traffic's a little slow going by it now that we're building a little more volume in, but it's really not all that terrible. Northbound 270, a little bit of a backup from 64 up to Ladue. We'll check and see there's not any trouble there, but it does look a little heavier than it did moments ago. Eastbound Highway 70 from Lake St. Louis into Bryan Road, that's a little slow right now. Northbound 55, Weber to River to Pear, a little busy as well. On the Illinois side, there's a little bit of a delay. Eastbound 5570, 64 into Ward 203. It's down to one lane through there right now. That's a road work that just popped up. That'll be going on through the weekend. The only jam we have, though, is eastbound 64 east of 50 through Green Mountain. It's currently bumper to bumper through that stretch. Next update at 7:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
KMOX AccuWeather, clouds giving way to increasing sunshine. Today, breezy and warm this afternoon, high 72. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy and cooler, lows in the mid-40s. Tomorrow will turn mostly cloudy. It'll become breezy in the afternoon with a late-day shower, the high 65 to 69. And Sunday will be windy and dramatically colder as clouds give way to some sun. Our high just 42 with AccuWeather real field temperatures in the 20s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies this morning at 65 in Florissant, 62 in St. Peter's, 64 degrees downtown at the Arch. And the weather sponsored by Lion's Choice. Lion's Choice, where you can enjoy a quick and delicious meal, but make it healthy with plenty of low-cal, low-carb, vegetarian, and gluten-free options. There's something to satisfy everyone on the Lion's Choice menu. Stop by today, Lion's Choice.
It is 7:12. Many doctors and potential patients are excited about President Trump's deal with drug makers to provide obesity medications like Ozempic, Zepbound, and Wegovy at significantly reduced prices.
It's a public health issue, says Through Care General Internist Dr. Fred Buckhold at SSM Health, St. Louis University Hospital. These GLP-1 drugs have many other trickle-down benefits for the body besides helping aid weight loss.
If we can make it a massive change for the health of our patients and our population, frankly, it's one of those things if done on a large scale can have a huge effect. There's trade-offs with everything, but I think this is one, to me, at least as much as I can tell with the data that's available to me, this seems like a very smart trade-off, and I applaud this move.
The agreement is expected to lower the price of obesity drugs to $149 a month in some cases. At the same time, the Medicare copays for these drugs could be lowered to $50. Fred Bottomer, KMOX News.
When foster care children are moved about the system, their belongings are transported in the same bags you would use to take out the garbage. Charlie Biscuit Smith founded My Life in a Bag to give foster children luggage instead. He says it really helps kids have a sense of belonging.
That shows that there was something that was there to help them to say, hey, I'm home or I'm on a visit. Let me enjoy this. But that trash bag, it probably carried a lot of, I feel like nothing.
As a fundraiser to buy more luggage for foster kids, My Life in a Bag is hosting an art gala this Saturday night at Christian Northeast Hospital on Dunn Road. $250 a ticket will provide one child with a real bag and not a trash bag.
We're definitely trying to get it back as close to what it was before the storm.
That's Danny Eichenhorst, CEO of Hustle Hospitality, talking about the Del Mar Maker District, which took a direct hit from the tornado. While her Fountain on Del Mar and Steve's Hot Dogs have reopened, business is slow. She says they're kicking off another fundraiser to help businesses like the one they did this summer.
We were able to raise about $100,000 to give everybody some sort of money in pocket just to be able to get by if they had a business along that stretch. And a lot of them had to use that as a down payment for a new space, unfortunately.
Insurance delays and backed up contractors have caused recovery to be slow. You can hear the full conversation with Eichenhorst coming up this morning at 7:52. Still ahead at 7:22.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
We find out where Scott Jagow has been roaming. The singing is a clue. It's now 7:15.
The St. Louis Blues were in a bad spot going into last night's game against Buffalo. They had a complete non-competitive effort against the Washington Capitals the night earlier, and they just aren't playing very good hockey this year towards the bottom of the league standings. Well, they respond yesterday, shutting out the Sabres by a 3-0 score as Joel Hofer makes 28 saves. It's his third shutout in the NHL, and they get a huge game from Matthew Joseph. He scores a shorthanded goal. He assists on goals by Justin Falk and Nick Bjugstad. After the game, head coach Jim Montgomery says that shorthanded goal from Joseph was huge.
Gave us some momentum. Our PK forecheck has been really good all year, and that was an opportunity where we stalled it at the blue line. And Matty Joe's speed, and what a great play he made and move on the goal.
Blues are going to open up a 4-game homestand Saturday when they take on Seattle. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, Alec Burleson is the National League Silver Slugger at the utility position. This is after he hit .290 with 18 home runs and an .801 OPS. He becomes the first Silver Slugger from the Cardinals since 2022. That year, Paul Goldschmidt and Nolan Arenado each won it. Also, some other roster moves for the Cardinals. They place on waivers outfitter Michael Ciani, who's claimed by the Braves, pitcher Roddery Munoz, who's claimed by the Reds. They also outright pitchers Anthony Veneziano and Zach Thompson. They were not claimed and become free agents. Brian Torres was selected to the 40-man roster. Billikens basketball, interesting game last night. They knock off Chicago State 108-86. They win the game by 22. They had a 22-0 run in the game, and after the game, head coach Josh Schertz talks about that 22-0 run being the difference.
I am happy with the 6-7 minute spurt. We went on a 22-0 run, but I'll still dim. I know that's not the way it works, but hey, take that 22-0 run out, it's a tie game. Everything else, we won by 22. So we had a 22-0 run. I mean, so you take out the other, and the other 33 minutes, the game's tied. And so the last 7.5 minutes, that's not going to fly. That's not going to be St. Louis basketball. Not as long as I'm the head coach, maybe somebody else, but we're not going to play that way.
The Billikens are led in scoring by Ishan Sharma. He finishes with 16 points. They get back at it on Monday hosting Lindenwood. A 7 o'clock start. We'll have it for you right here on KMOX. Other college basketball of note going on tonight. Missouri plays their second game of the season. They are hosting Southeast Missouri State. Illinois basketball, they are going to be at home this evening as they take on Florida Gulf Coast. And Southern Illinois basketball, they are hosting Kansas City. Last night in the OVC, Lindenwood, they pick up a victory against the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy, 116-51. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, the genuine, the original, present 100 years of KMOX.
1993.
There, when disaster hit.
June 27th, the Mississippi River rises above flood stage at St. Louis.
July 3rd, the Missouri River reaches flood stage for the second time and levees are starting to buckle.
This is Nan Wyatt in the KMOX Flood Center. Sandbaggers are still needed this afternoon.
Good morning, I'm Daryl Lloyd. We have a live update now from the KMOX Jetcopter 1, where Steve Shoemaker is flying over West Alton right now, the scene of a number of levee breaks recently. Steve?
There's a farmhouse I'm looking at and it's floating.
Those levees were never intended to protect against 49.6 feet.
We had the greatest natural disaster that's ever hit.
There for every headline, every heartbreak, every heartbeat. KMOX, the voice of St. Louis. Brought to you by the Polar Express at St. Louis Union Station. Get your tickets now at stlpolarexpressride.com.
The Polar Express is back in St. Louis. Book your magical trip before they sell out. Book a weekday trip in November and receive a complimentary ticket to ride the St. Louis Wheel. The Polar Express train is arriving at the St. Louis Union Station on November 14th, and you're invited to hop in. Start a journey towards the North Pole. Meet Santa Claus and his elves, and see STL from 200 feet up, and feel the magic of the Christmas story everybody loves. Book your trip at stlpolarexpressride.com. All aboard the Polar Express.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years' experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Total Information AM on 104.1 FM. KMOX.
It's 7:20. Let's see what's happening on the roads with Roger Brand and the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, down south of us, they're continuing to deal with that tanker truck that's overturned, that's leaking a chemical, and they had to shut the northbound lanes down. They were talking about shutting it down at the Ozora exit, so that's the 143-mile marker, something like that. So I can see a backup at Ozora. That's the Highway J and N exit. So if you take that sort of a lengthy detour, but you can take J over to 61 and take northbound 61 up to avoid that. But it looks like that's the situation. They were talking about having to close. Apparently, the tanker truck's on the northbound ramp there, the exit ramp to 32. And that's where it overturns. So that's why that's the next nearest exit they can shut the northbound lanes down at. So that's the current situation there. The right lane's still closed, northbound 55, midway between Z and Highway M for a crash. Really not much in the way of a slowdown there. It's barely slow past Bayless. North 270, a little slow at Gravois. Doherty Ferry to Manchester, 64 up to Ladue. Eastbound 64 is a little slow at Lake St. Louis Boulevard. Downtown 5570, more delays. There's heavy traffic. Jamming up as you approach 64. It's down to one lane between Exchange and 203, and eastbound 64 backed up east of 50 past Greenmount Road. Next update at 7:30 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
All right, we are going to have a day with sunshine. It'll be breezy and 72 degrees. So sunny, breezy, 72. Tomorrow we're looking at maybe a shower late. Otherwise, a mostly cloudy day with highs in the mid to upper 60s, and then it gets cold for Sunday. Right now, it is cloudy and 59 degrees.
Next time somebody says St. Louis, what's St. Louis got?
All right, Scott Jagow is joining us in Studio B. Good morning.
Good morning.
We're going to try and figure out where Scott has been roaming. Play along at home with the clues. Stuart McMillan, good morning.
Good morning.
Megan Lynch.
I'm ready. I've got my finger on the bell.
Okay.
I think you guys I'm giving you a pretty good chance of getting this.
Oh, okay.
So
should we hold our guesses till the end?
well, let's hold our guesses so we can hear the clues.
No, stop it, Stuart.
Okay.
Calm down.
Forest Park.
Clue number 1.
It begins in 1673 with Marquette and Joliet coming down the Mississippi River on their expedition and concludes in 2025 with the latest refinements and Pope Leo XIV. And so this offered an opportunity to illustrate 138 key moments which trace the establishment and development of St. Louis, the influence of Catholicism.
Wow,
Okay.
that encompasses quite a chunk of history.
Yeah. But it's a good start. It's a good clue because you heard the Pope's name in there and Catholicism.
And
so
the year. There was a year in there.
there was a year in
Or
there.
an era.
Yeah.
And Lewis and Clark and or Shoto or
One of them.
I think it was.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
One
right,
of
that
those
was a
guys.
lot. Should we listen to another clue?
Yeah, the second one.
Really one of awe. It just is so magnificent. You are surrounded, you're enveloped by this magnificent space. Byzantine interiors took 76 years to complete, and they cover 83,000 square feet of surface.
All right, I have an idea.
Megan looks
I
like
might
she
have an
does
idea.
too.
Yeah. She's bring it.
Stu, do
Bring
you
it.
have an idea?
I am so tired.
That's a big
I don't-
space.
Yeah, it's huge. It's a huge
Byzantine.
place.
Yeah, that's another
Yeah,
clue.
That's kind of a giveaway right there.
Took
But
76 years. All
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Or 67. Was it 67?
No, don't say
don't
6,
go
7.
there.
6, 7.
Stop it.
76. Okay, clue number 3.
It is open to the community for us to come together in times of celebration, in times of mourning. When John F. Kennedy was assassinated, there was a memorial mass here. I would also note that Martin Luther King, when he was assassinated, there was a memorial mass for him as well. So the community comes together here.
We've got one more clue to go, and then I'll let you guys guess.
Okay, here we go.
As far as I know, that tornado did not affect the structure of the building. I would point out history repeating itself, though. In 1895, the site was selected, and they were ready to move forward with the design and construction. In 1896, there was a really came through the Great Tornado of St. Louis of 1896.
So the tornado question obviously narrows down the location
Right.
a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks to me like all three of you know
Yeah.
where
We're
I
like-
went this week.
Yeah.
So
All right, who's guessing?
No, she's got her
No,
hand
go
on the
ahead.
bell. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I always get this wrong because it's a church. It's the big church up there, and I can't remember.
Oh,
Come on,
come on, you can't remember it?
My
Come on,
brain is
Megan.
dead.
Come on.
Megan, you got it.
Sure.
The Byzantine of Saint. I don't know. Go ahead, please. This is horrible.
This is.
My brain is.
Are
not
you
working.
seriously?
I'm totally blanking. I'm totally blanking.
Come on,
Why
Megan.
am I even on this segment?
Debbie, help us out.
The
Deliver it.
Cathedral Basilica.
Ding, ding, ding. Yeah.
I was going to
On
say
Lindell.
cathedral and basilica. I can see all those words.
Yes.
But
and
they're-
Byzantine.
Well, you got those pronunciations.
and 6-7.
At first, maybe I thought it was the old cathedral because of the talk about the Lewis and Clark, and I was thinking the river.
Yeah,
connection.
that was kind of a that threw me on a different direction.
Well, the 83,000 square feet is one thing.
It is
the
massive.
4 million pieces of
Mm.
glass in the mosaics. It's extraordinary.
It really is gorgeous.
It's just breathtaking. It's awe-inspiring.
Mm-hmm.
There's a new book about it, which is why I went there.
Oh.
John Gunther, who wrote a book about the arch, just wrote a book about Cathedral Basilica. Lots of photos in it. It traces the timeline of construction and what's happened over the years and decades. So it's something I think a lot of St. Louisans would love to get a hold of. But yeah, it's definitely right up there internationally as the largest collection of mosaics in the world. And they're just stunning.
Yes, go visit if you haven't been,
Been there, right, Stu?
I have not been.
Oh,
gotta
well,
go.
see.
Gotta
This is
go.
why
That's
I
okay.
didn't get the answer.
That's okay. That's okay.
Just
Stuart.
put it on the
We
list.
didn't mean
though.
to shame you.
Yeah, everybody's like,
Megan
Stu, how did you not know this? I'm like,
Put it on your list, though. It's really
bucket
worth
list.
going. Yeah.
And when will we hear more?
Sunday morning at 8:20 and 9:20.
Right now it is 7:26. The time check sponsored by Jerry Kelley Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
The legendary Fast Eddie of Fast Eddie's Bon Air and Redbirds Hall of Famer Jason Isringhausen.
Hey, Izzy, what's going on, man? Looks kind of like you got something on your mind.
Well, Eddie boy, I'm thinking you may need to change the name of your place from Fast Eddie's to $5 Eddie's.
$5 Eddie? Man, why in the world would I call it $5 Eddie?
Well, I was in there the other day and bought myself the coldest beer I've ever had in my life, and I gave the guy $5. And then I went over and got some of those huge cold water peel and eat shrimps, and I gave her $5.
Well, I never really thought about that. There's a lot of $5 going on in there.
And then I went back up and got one of those huge Fast Eddie cheeseburgers, and I gave them $5 again.
Man, definitely has a ring to it. I think there's a lot of $5 going on.
Yeah, and I had about $100 worth of good time.
Well, that's good to hear, and it's easy to do with live music 7 days a week and a big old party going on that big, beautiful outdoor patio.
Well, like Mr. Shannon always says, if you're 21 and in the mood, head on over to Fast Eddie's Bon Air in Alton, Illinois, and maybe take a selfie on that old Harley Davidson of mine.
Who else has got a Cardinal Hall of Famer's Harley Davidson sitting out on the patio for some selfies?
Only Eddie boy.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9834. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-9834. That's 800-575-9834. Tax Relief Advocates, real solutions for real people.
This November, the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra presents Benjamin Britten's War Requiem, a powerful, haunting piece that reflects on war and peace across generations. Led by music director Stéphane Deneuve, the SLSO and St. Louis Symphony Chorus are joined by world-renowned vocalists and the St. Louis Children's Choirs. November 7th and 9th. Tickets at slso.org.
I dared Archwell Health to keep track of my vitals and my grandkids' names.
I dared Archwell Health to simplify my prescriptions, so Max and I have more time to play. Good boy.
And I dared Archwell Health to be closer than my neighborhood coffee shop. Our members dared us to do more as a primary care provider for adults age 60 and up. So we made it our mission. Visit archwellhealth.com and become a member today. Archwell Health. We dare to care.
St. Louis, meet your new favorite way to start the day. The Chris and Amy Show. It's not the same old talk. It's fresh, it's different, and it's local. Chris and Amy dig into the news that matters, but they also keep it light, keep it fun, and keep you smiling. Serious when it needs to be, silly when it can be. That's pure entertainment with a local heartbeat. The Chris and Amy Show, weekdays at 9 on the Voice of St. Louis, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
At 7:30, we have cloudy skies, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. I'm Megan Lynch.
I'm Debbie Monterrey, and this is Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, again, if you're coming in from a ways down south, just be advised that northbound 55 is closed at the Ozora exit. Northbound 55 at Ozora closed because of an overturned tanker truck leaking a chemical northbound 55 at the Highway 32 exit. So you're being diverted off at Ozora. You can take, I think that's Highway J over to 61, sort of a lengthy detour, but that's the situation right now currently on northbound 55. Northbound 55 also has a heavy backup, not a jam, but it's slow midway up from 61 into 67. After that, it's just a little busy between Bayless and River de Pere. North 270, it looks like we have a crash at the Sappington overpass. It's jammed north of 55 to that. Then it's slow. Big Bend most of the way up to Ladue. Southbound 61, eastbound 70, eastbound 64 in the Wentzville area. That's all looking good for you right now. We had a crash reported Manchester at Sulphur Spring. Westbound's backed up at 141. Eastbound's jammed east of Reese, bumper to bumper both ways through there. And we have that roadwork downtown. Eastbound 64 from 3rd Street on to 5570 to 203's jammed because 5570 is down to one lane there. And eastbound 64 is jammed from 50 through Greenmount Road due to roadwork. Next update is 7:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
It's cloudy now, but we should see some sunshine today. It'll be breezy and warm this afternoon with a high of 72. Clear to partly cloudy, cooler tonight with an overnight low of 45. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy in the afternoon with a shower late, a high around 69. Right now, cloudy skies, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch.
It is 7:32, and Missouri's Attorney General is launching an investigation into the state's utility companies over their compliance. And Catherine Hanaway announces that her office is probing whether utilities are following the Dig Safe law, which requires them to mark underground lines within 2 working days of a request. The investigation follows reports of systemic failures by some companies to mark their buried lines in a timely and accurate manner. Hanaway says her office will not hesitate to hold utility companies accountable.
New state performance data shows St. Louis public schools at risk of failing from full to provisional accreditation.
The district's total performance score for 2025 comes in at 66.5%. Under Missouri's accountability system, any score below 70% falls into the provisionally accredited range. A district in this range is not meeting state standards and faces increased state oversight and a strict improvement plan. The low score for SLPS is driven by 2 main factors, academics and attendance. The district earned only 50% of possible points in core subjects like math and science, but the most glaring number is for attendance, where the district earned 0 points. Only 52% of students are at school at least 85% of the time. This places SLPS in a precarious position. Provisional status is not a state takeover yet. That's reserved for unaccredited districts like SLPS has been in the past, but this is a serious warning. On the other end of the spectrum, a few charter schools in the city are models of success. The Soulard School at 97% and Lafayette Preparatory Academy at 92% rank among the highest performing in the state. They posted perfect 100% scores in ELA and science and, critically, 100% in attendance. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Parents as Teachers National Center today is dedicating the new Show Me Strong Families Christopher Kit Bond Center. It's located on South Grand in the Shaw neighborhood and will serve as a dedicated trauma-informed facility for early childhood and family support. Show Me Strong Families serves more than 350 families each year, 88% of whom face multiple life stressors like housing instability, unemployment, and food insecurity. An open house begins at 10 this morning with a noon dedication.
Your money report coming up. The news sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com.
Attention. Have you racked up $10,000 or more in credit card debt? Are you barely getting by making minimum payments? With credit card debt reaching all-time highs, National Debt Relief is notifying consumers about significant debt relief options currently being made available to help those with overwhelming credit card debt. These options may reduce a large portion of credit card debt for those who qualify. You don't need to declare bankruptcy or take out a consolidation loan, and you may only have to pay back a fraction of what you owe, even if you have bad credit. National Debt Relief has already reduced the credit card debt for more than 550,000 consumers, so don't wait. If you owe $10,000, $20,000, or even $100,000 in credit card debt, you can now take advantage of this financial debt relief as the cost of living continues to skyrocket. To check what debt reduction you may qualify for, call 800-999-3339. That's 800-999-3339. Again, that's 800-999-3339.
It is 7:35. Let's get you caught up with your money report, which is sponsored this hour by Busey Bank.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Tesla shareholders approved a $1 trillion compensation package for CEO Elon Musk. More than 75% of the votes cast were in favor of the unprecedented pay plan. Now, to achieve the full payout, he's going to have to deliver on targets to significantly expand Tesla's market value, revive its flagging car business, and get the fledgling robotaxi and Optimus robotics efforts off the ground. But this morning, futures indicate a lower open on Wall Street. A fresh bout of selling yesterday was led by some of the biggest beneficiaries of the artificial intelligence boom. Airbnb issued a better than expected outlook for the holiday quarter. They're citing strong demand as U.S. travelers use its recently launched Reserve Now, Pay Later feature to book trips in advance. And Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk secured deals with the Trump administration to slash prices for their blockbuster weight loss drugs. I'm John Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
Life doesn't stand still, and neither do your goals. At Busey Bank, we're here to help you move forward. with the financial tools, local support, and expert guidance you need to take your next step. Whether you're growing a business, leaving a legacy, or saving for the future, you'll have a team that's ready when you are. UC Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Chesterfield Valley Nursery invites you to make your own live holiday decor this year in our Winter Planter class happening on November 22nd. Sign up today on our website or Facebook. Learn how to put together a live evergreen porch planter. Registration required. Spots fill up fast. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com. That's November 22nd. ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com to register.
Coverage varies by plan. View contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance to pay for the repair bills. I'm Danica Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and more. Endurance has plans for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-293-8030. That's 800-293-8030. 800-293-8030.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
If you owe the IRS, you have a legal issue, and you need the Lance Drury Law Firm. We'll protect your rights. Log on at LanceDruryLaw.com.
Don't miss Mosby Building Arts Home Improvement Show, Saturdays from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX. One of the last call-in shows where you can get live answers to your remodeling, design, and construction questions. Tune in Saturdays at 11 a.m.
Fridays mean football. From a zoo to the NFL, we've got your weekend covered.
All three, ready?
It's Friday football on KMOX.
It is now 7:39, and a festival of adult beverages Saturday in Grafton at the Great Rivers and Routes Craft Beverage Festival taking place at Grafton Winery, The Vineyards. It features signature pours from craft beer, wine, and spirits producers in Southwest Illinois. Designated drivers get discounted tickets, signature glass, and food. New this year is a Confluence craft competition showcasing creative drinks crafted with local ingredients at participating restaurants in the region.
It's now 7:40. Let's get an update on the roads for you with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, the northbound 55 remains closed, Megan, at the 143 exit. That's the Ozora exit because of a tanker truck crash overturned that occurred at the Highway 32 exit north of there. So they have the highway shut down northbound right now while they deal with it. Northbound 55 is also heavy north of 61 up to 67. There's a slowdown, although they just opened the right lane, so this slowdown ought to thin out, but there's a slowdown midway up from Z to M, where we had the right lane closed for a while because of a crash. It's also busy. Bales up to River to Pear. North 270, that crash is still in the left lane, or partially in the left lane, mostly on the shoulder. It's northbound 270, just immediately north of the Sappington overpass, so traffic's backed up at 55. It's still slow from about Doherty Ferry up to Clayton Road, and both directions 270 around Ladue. Southbound, the delays there begin at about Olive. Manchester at Reese, or Manchester at Sulphur Spring, they're working a crash. Westbound is backed up about midway back to Reese. Eastbound's backed up pretty close to 141. And, of course, downtown on the Illinois side, we have roadwork delays. Eastbound 64 from 3rd Street on to 5570 at Exchange. It's down to one lane there. And eastbound 64 roadwork backed up from 50 through Greenmount. It opens up just before you get to 158. Next update is 750 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
7:41. What does the weekend have in store? We've been peppering our newscast this morning with some of the many events and activities that are taking place this weekend, and some of those would be weather dependent. So let's ask our AccuWeather meteorologist, Joe Lundberg.
Well, Debbie, I think our weather is going to change on a dime tomorrow night as a sharp cold front comes through the area. Ahead of it, we've got some beautiful weather today. We started off with clouds this morning. We will be seeing some sunshine as we go through the midday and afternoon hours, and it'll be a nice warm breeze this afternoon. We'll get into the low 70s. Tonight, partly cloudy skies, certainly cooler than it is this morning when we've stayed in the 60s by and large. Tonight's, though, about 45. Tomorrow will turn mostly cloudy, but I think it's breezy and still pretty mild in the afternoon with the late day showers. The next front approaches the high 65 to 69, but it's a front that means business. Behind it, it is going to be windy and much, much, much colder for Sunday. Clouds will give way to some sun, but temperatures go nowhere. Only in the low 40s, real feels in the 20s much of the day. Brisk and cold despite an abundance of sunshine from Monday. The high again, low 40s, mid 50s on Tuesday with some sunshine. 61 in St. Peter's, it is 63 in Florissant, and mostly cloudy and 63 downtown at the Arch. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
More news now at 7:43.
I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants.
Sean Dunn, the man who threw a sandwich at a federal agent in Washington, D.C. in August, was found not guilty of misdemeanor assault yesterday. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott McFarland has more.
It's obviously a very campy set of allegations, but I think it touched a nerve with some group of people who thought that this was overcharged. That how are you charging somebody with a federal crime for throwing a sandwich at a federal agent's Kevlar vest? I think there's an understanding. You don't throw things at people. There's an understanding that this type of conduct, being in the face of a federal agent, is objectionable to any number of people. But there was a concern the defense tried to express that this perhaps isn't a criminal federal matter. Jury sided with the defense on this.
A federal judge in Chicago issued an injunction yesterday restricting the use of force by federal agents. Here's WBBM's Andy Dane.
The ruling from federal judge Sarah Ellis comes after days of testimony regarding Operation Midway Blitz, during which Border Patrol Commander Gregory Bovino and supervisors defended the use of tear gas, pepper spray, and more during protests in the Chicago area. Bovino called his agents' work, quote, more than exemplary. Ellis, however, called much of the evidence for the use of force not credible, and enacted permanent restrictions on what force immigration agents can use moving forward.
The International Institute celebrating a local entrepreneur who recently immigrated to the United States.
Mudasir Ibrahim Heel received a grant for $20,000, helping support his food truck, Cobble Burger. He shares the moment he found out he won.
I received email. They say, congratulations, you are approved for 20,000 pounds.
And how did you feel when you got that email?
Yeah, I got email and I was so exciting. I feel so happy.
President of the St. Louis International Institute, Blake Hamilton, says this shows St. Louis is opening its arms to immigrant entrepreneurs.
It really shows that folks with a good idea who can get an audience can really grow.
Sean Malone, KMOX News.
And as the news continues, President Trump announcing a deal with drug makers Eli Lilly and Novo Nordisk to provide obesity medications like Zepbound and Wegovy at significantly reduced prices.
This will slash the cost of Wegovy from $1,350 a month to ultimately $250 a month.
At the same time, the Medicare copays for those drugs could be lowered to $50.
It's 7:45.
To say the Blues needed a win and a good performance last night would be a massive understatement, but they get it, going to Buffalo and shutting out the Sabres by a 3-0 score. Jordan Kyrou doesn't even play in the game as he is a healthy scratch. At one point in the contest, Robert Thomas is essentially taken off the ice. Jim Montgomery trying to make a statement with who he's playing. The Blues get the 3-0 win. Huge game for Matthew Joseph. A shorthanded goal and 2 assists. They get goals from Justin Falk. They also get a goal from Nick Bjugstad. And Joel Hofer makes 28 saves in his 3rd NHL shutout. He made some spectacular saves. And Montgomery, speaking after the game, said that Hofer's play lifted the whole team.
He had a great save there, his first save of the game. Great glove save. And I think the bench got really up because of it, and I think we got energy from it. And then he just was solid all night long.
Up next for the Blues, a 4-game homestand. It begins tomorrow when they take on Seattle. Billikens basketball, a 108-86 win against Chicago State last night. That sounds good. However, in the final 7.5 minutes of the game, the Billikens really struggle from a defensive standpoint, and they allowed Chicago State to score a lot of points, 46 second-half points for Chicago State. And as Josh Schertz spoke on the radio postgame show here on KMOX, he talked about the fact that he really wants his team to learn the value of every single possession.
Good teams and good players, the circumstances don't dictate your effort. The circumstances don't dictate your execution. We're up 36. That's great. Let's win by 50. Right. Like good teams, it doesn't matter. You play the possession in front of you with everything you have to play the possession in front of you the right way, as hard as you can, with a level of intensity and physicality and focus. We talk about all the time stacking possessions. The last 7.5 minutes, we did not do that.
Ishan Sharma led the way, scoring 16 points. That was a career high. He was 5 of 8 on 3-point shots. Kellen Thames, Robbie Avila each scored 15. Quentin Jones scoring 14. Billikens are back at it. They're going to match up against Lindenwood coming up on Monday. Speaking of Lindenwood, they do pick up a victory last night as they knock off the University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy 116-51. Some college basketball going on tonight. Missouri is hosting Southeast Missouri State. Illinois is hosting Florida Gulf Coast, and Southern Illinois, they are going to be matched up against Kansas City. St. Louis Cardinals baseball, Alec Burleson winning the Silver Slugger for the utility position. And the Cardinals also clear a number of players off the 40-man roster. Michael Ciani, he's claimed by the Braves. Pitcher Rodri Munoz being claimed by the Reds. Also, Zach Thompson and Anthony Veneziano being outrighted. They become free agents, while Brian Torres was selected to the 40-man roster. Matt Pauley, KMOX Sports.
No need to get technical on heating and cooling. We all want our houses to cool, correct? When it's heating season, we want them to heat, correct? There's not much more to it than that, but I can give you some pointers and tips on the efficiencies, meaning the efficiencies of your house, what you can do to make your house more efficient, and then deciding on what system to purchase, therefore maximizing every single dollar you spent for a furnace and air conditioner. Not spending maximum dollars on a furnace and air conditioner because you're told of an efficiency rating, and that's it. So again, a common sense approach. When you start getting prices for new furnace and air conditioners, call me. It's one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. Again, Missouri and Illinois, the only number, 314-293-2600. Again, that's 314-293-2600, or on the internet, it is bartinman.com. That's Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
250 years ago, a promise was made to connect families and friends near and far. And during the holidays, that promise is more important than ever. That's why USPS is building a better network to meet your needs, with timely deliveries, easy and affordable ways to ship, and everything you need to make your season full of holiday cheer. Our purpose is delivering your peace of mind, knowing your love will arrive, bringing joy to all. The United States Postal Service. Learn more at USPS.com/holidays.
The wait is over. AC/DC's Back Live Power Up Tour. September 8th. The Dome at America Center with the Pretty Reckless. Tickets on sale Friday at 10 a.m. at livenation.com. September 8th. The Dome at America Center. Don't miss AC/DC. Total Information AM on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
It's 7:50. Let's get another check of your ride into work with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we've had our second crash of the morning, northbound 55 midway between Z and M, again blocking the right lane, the crash on the shoulder. So there's another bit of a backup there, northbound 55. Of course, north 55 remains closed down at Ozora, and that's due to the incident we had at the Highway 32 exit, the St. Genevieve exit, with an overturned tanker truck leaking some chemicals. The leak has been contained. That's good news. North 55, after that, in the city, that usual, or approaching the city, the usual slowdown between Bales and Weber. That crash has the left lane closed, North 270, the Sapling Road overpass. A solid jam at 55, then it's still slow. Manchester to Ladue, South 270 approaching Olive down to Ladue. That's heavy. Other than that, it's delays on the Illinois side, eastbound 5570, or 64 rather, approaching 3rd Street onto 5570, jam most of the way to 203 and eastbound 64. 50 through Greenmount opens up before you get to 158. Both of those due to roadwork restrictions. Next update at 7:58 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And it looks like we're going to have a cloudy morning and then sunshine later in the day. Breezy and warm today with a high of 72. Cloudy and cooler tonight with an overnight low of 45. And then tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy in the afternoon with a shower late tomorrow. Expect a high near 69. Right now, clouds 63 degrees downtown at the Arch.
Let's get an update from Del Mar with Danny Eichenhorst, the CEO of Hustle Hospitality. Maybe some people think that a lot of the businesses along that stretch have not reopened.
Thanks for checking in on us, for sure. We were able to reopen it. In fact, a lot of us have reopened. But to be honest, it's been very, very quiet. I think you kind of see these things after a disaster. It's not fun to look at, so people don't come down, but also our neighbors and our regulars are gone in this area right now and displaced. It's definitely an area that still needs a lot of intentional love and traffic and attention from St. Louis if it's going to make it to the other side.
The Del Mar Maker District is one of those terrible tragedies because so many people put so much work into really bringing that stretch of Del Mar back, and it was looking fantastic. I know that your restaurants are back open, but a couple of those buildings, do you know how many of your fellow businesses are not going to reopen?
Yeah, we lost a lot of folks along that stretch who've had to permanently relocate somewhere else. I don't know if you remember back in June, we did a big benefit concert, Build Back the Block, and we were able to raise about $100,000 to give everybody some sort of money in pocket just to be able to get by if they had a business along that stretch. And a lot of them had to use that as a down payment for a new space, unfortunately. There are still, several buildings that are yet to come down. The pace of recovery has been really, really slow. I think it's been difficult with insurance companies, and we're just not seeing a whole ton of progress just yet. But yeah, just like you said, we've got the Fountain on Del Mar, Steve's Hot Dogs, Nixta, Ben Caremba has a few concepts down here that have reopened. And so we're definitely trying to get it back as close to what it was before the storm.
You're kicking something off next month?
We are, yeah. Just like you mentioned, there's about $32 million invested in this neighborhood by Doug Auer and Jim McKelvey, trying to build up this beautiful makers district. It was going to be food and making focused. So they've got a, made space, Craft Alliance, Third Degree Glass is down here as well. So this neighborhood had a ton of momentum. And then, of course, the storm came through and we did take a direct hit, and it just really has been a huge setback. And me, as somebody who loves St. Louis and wants to see good people succeed, you don't want to see all of that investment go to waste. Not only did they invest that, but all of these businesses invested along this area as well and really saw a vision for what could be. And so we will be launching a campaign called Dollars for Del Mar, and it will launch officially December 12th. But you could donate if you wanted to through the Del Mar Main Street website. You can click on Donate for Tornado Relief. And our goal is to put a lot of money in the pockets of the businesses that have reopened. Our restaurants, Steve's Hot Dogs, Fountain on Del Mar, every day we open, we're about 30 to 50% under what it takes to keep our doors open. We are effectively taking a loss every day that we open our business, but we're trying to hold on because we saw a vision for this neighborhood and we really want to see that happen. And it's sort of the same story up and down Del Mar. And so the goal of Dollars for Del Mar is to help underwrite these businesses a little bit so that on the other side of this, they can remain and they can get through until the neighbors come back and traffic comes back to the neighborhood. I think really without all these awesome businesses in this area, it would be terribly sad. We would lose this area as a destination. All of that gorgeous investment and momentum would be lost. And you got to think that these businesses along Del Mar are also employers of people in this area and in this neighborhood. It's a little economic engine that was really started and was working. And then, of course, the unexpected happened.
That is Danny Eichenhorst with Hustle Hospitality, Steve's Hot Dogs, and Fountain on Del Mar. Thanks for the update.
Oh, I appreciate it, Debbie. Thank you.
Now that we're getting older, we've been putting more thought into maintaining our health.
We knew the water we drink every day could be filled with contaminants. So
we called Leaf Home Water Solutions.
They came to our home and did a free water test and gave us the analysis right away.
We were shocked at what we saw.
They found heavy metals like iron and copper.
Our own tap water was putting our health at risk, but Leave Home Water Solutions made it easy to get safer water from every tap and hose. A whole home solution.
They have more than 250 product combinations and designed a system that fits our needs and budget. The installation took less than a day.
With Leave Home Water Solutions, our water is safer and healthier. When we drink, when we cook, when we shower, even when we garden.
We feel better about our health.
Thanks to Leave Home Water Solutions.
Schedule your free home water test today at leafhome.com/free and save 15% on all home water treatment systems. That's leafhome.com/free for your free home water test and 15% off. leafhome.com/free.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
To get this special radio offer, go to leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today and get up to 30% off. That's leaffilter.com/deal for up to 30% off. leaffilter.com/deal. See representative for warranty details.
Attention business owners with a net income over $500,000. You need to work with a tax strategist that understands your entrepreneurial mindset. Download the most recent white paper written by E3 Consultants Group titled The Power of a Professional Tax Strategy Team. Go to e3wealth.com/radio to obtain a copy. It's time to learn about wealth and tax strategies that protect your personal and business economy. E3 is ready to help you think differently about your finances. Educate, empower, enlighten. That's the E3 difference.
Let's check on the roads again on this Friday morning. Roger Brand is in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, we still got the right lane blocked, Megan, for the crash. Northbound 55 midway between M and Z. It's jammed north of Z. North 270 is jammed as you ramp on from 55 all the way up to the Sappings Road overpass. The left lane blocked there for a crash. North 270 north of Manchester up to Ladue, still pretty heavy on the Illinois side. Eastbound 64 3rd Street on the 5570 to 203 jammed, and 64 eastbound jammed from 50 through Greenmount. Next update at 8:10 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Today is Friday, November 7th. I'm Debbie Monterrey.
How the air traffic control cuts could mean more passengers coming through St. Louis. I'm Michael Calhoun with the latest.
Have you heard the term Ozempic face? A Missouri doctor says it's not just about looks. I'm Fred Bottomer with that story.
I'm Megan Lynch. A new study shows AI companies aren't offering enough information about their products to schools.
I'm Sean Malone. Coming up, I speak with the lone cop assigned to patrol Kinloch daily in the effort to try to fight illegal dumping. Hear that conversation coming up.
This is AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg. After a cloudy start, sunshine returns today. Breezy and warm this afternoon, high 72.
At the Tone, it's 8 o'clock in Mid-America.
News, talk, cards. KMOX AM St. Louis. KMOX FM Hazelwood. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by Progressive Insurance.
I'm Deborah Rodriguez. It's the first day of government shutdown-related cuts at major airports, and almost 1,600 flights have been canceled or delayed in the U.S. so far. The goal is to alleviate some of the stress on air traffic controllers still showing up for work despite 2 full missed paychecks. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy tells CBS Mornings.
We saw controllers working 6 days a week, 10-hour days. That pressure on the controllers were giving us numbers that were not troubling, but were concerning.
WTOP's Neil Augenstein is at the airport near Washington, D.C.
This passenger got here early for his flight to Orlando. He does a lot of traveling for work.
So that could also affect our business by getting us delayed and not making it to a customer site on time.
And as he's walking quickly to his gate, this traveler says he is concerned.
I've got a wedding to get to, and I hope I get home in time.
Neil Augenstein for CBS News, Reagan National International Airport.
And it's also left SNAP recipients without food benefits for almost a week, shutdown has. A judge has ordered the Trump administration to restore them fully. CBS's Natalie Brand.
The administration has appealed. The USDA said that it was complying with the initial court order, but that the contingency fund that it's tapping only would provide 50% of the SNAP benefit. Then the USDA amended to say they could provide 65%.
No jobs numbers from the Labor Department for the second month in a row because of the shutdown, but private numbers are pointing to a very tight market. Business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
Job search site Indeed has reported that the number of jobs available have fallen to the lowest level since February of 2021 during the pandemic. Just because there's a reduction in job openings doesn't necessarily mean bad news. It just means that companies are not hiring.
Former NFL star Antonio Brown's back in the U.S. to face an attempted murder charge.
The 37-year-old former wide receiver was wanted for a shooting outside a boxing event in Miami in May. He allegedly grabbed a gun from a security guard's hip and fired 2 shots at a man he had been in a fistfight with, grazing the man's neck. Miami police spokesman Michael Vega says U.S. Marshals arrested Brown in Dubai, where he had posted a video of himself riding a bicycle.
Kind of like mocking the fact that, hey, I left the United States. But we were on to him.
Brown was flown to New Jersey yesterday and is awaiting extradition to Miami. Michael Wallace, CBS News.
They'll announce this year's Grammy nominations in L.A. in a couple of hours. Sabrina Carpenter, Bad Bunny, Lady Gaga, Kendrick Lamar, all in the running. This is CBS News.
The annual Progressive Keys to Progress program provides vehicles to deserving veterans, helping our heroes drive their lives forward. Learn more at keystoprogress.com.
At 8:03, we have cloudy skies, 63 degrees downtown at the Arch. Today is Friday, November 7th. I'm Megan Lynch. The air traffic cuts at major U.S. airports are taking effect. What's the impact on St. Louis? KMOX's Michael Calhoun takes a look.
Lambert Airport is not directly impacted by this. St. Louis is not on the list of airports where the FAA is trimming traffic, but that doesn't mean there isn't a spillover effect. First of all, if you've got somebody who's flying in from one of these airports, they could be delayed. Also, flights out, we're seeing on the big board, are delayed to some of these impacted airports. But there could be a more indirect impact as well, because passengers who might be slated to fly to Florida but connect through Atlanta, and that flight is one of those that gets cut, they could be redirected, especially if they're on Southwest, which has a connection point in St. Louis. They could be redirected to a flight that goes through St. Louis and still gets them to their ultimate destination. That takes up seats, means flights leaving St. Louis could be more full.
A direct flight launching between St. Louis and London next spring, coming at the perfect time.
There's Route 66 and also America 250 and FIFA. Let's not forget FIFA. So there's a lot that is going to bring kind of once in a lifetime attention to the United States generally and St. Louis specifically.
Kat Neville of Explore St. Louis tells KMOX a St. Louis delegation is traveling to London next month to lay the foundation for messages aimed to make St. Louis more than a stopover. Attorney General Catherine Hanaway adding another count to her lawsuit to oust St. Louis Sheriff Alfred Montgomery. The new charge claims Montgomery has forfeited his office because he's currently in federal jail and unable to perform his duties. The new accusation joins a long list of previous allegations, including misusing taxpayer money to transport his children and illegally handcuffing a city jail official. A judge has already temporarily removed Montgomery from office. A block on Snapchat leads to felony charges against an 18-year-old Mizzou freshman. According to the probable cause statement, Maxwell Warren confronted another student who had blocked him on the social media app and demanded he be added back. He was, but he allegedly in late October returned to the victim's dorm and strangled the person to unconsciousness. In another case, a witness reported seeing Warren assault a woman near a parking garage. He's been banned from campus and has a bond hearing set for Monday. The city of Kinloch that borders Lambert Airport has been plagued by illegal dumping for years, drawing a regional approach to clean up the city in August. As part of the cleanup effort, the St. Louis County Police Department assigned Graham Heidemann to patrol the city daily to prevent further dumping. He tells KMOX since that time, he's seen progress.
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is the overall health of the community and the happiness of the residents. You can see when we're out here doing these cleanups, when we're making a difference, we're making a visible difference. The residents are much happier because they're the ones that have to live with this every day.
We'll have more on the story coming up at 8:24. Missouri plans to issue partial November SNAP payments.
The Missouri Department of Social Services says it has received official guidance from the federal government allowing partial funding to issue November food stamp benefits. The agency says it is working with its vendor to distribute benefits quickly and will share more details as they are made available. How much Missouri families will be getting is unknown. Elisa Nelson, Missouri Net.
St. Louis County Executive Sam Page sticking by his embattled House director.
The job Dr. Kanika Cunningham has done operating the St. Louis County Animal Care and Control Shelter has drawn scrutiny, with the county council voting no confidence in her at their last meeting. Despite that vote, County Executive Page remains firm in supporting her.
She's transformed the Animal Care and Control and Pet Adoption Center. It's a lot better than it's ever been. And we're pretty happy with her progress.
Page says the main issue is the shelter remains underfunded. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
From the business desk, sponsored by Krentz Financial Group, KFGadvisors.com. It's slow going in the Del Mar Maker District after the May tornado's direct hit. Hustle Hospitality CEO Danny Eichenhorst says some of the businesses aren't going to reopen. Her Fountain on Del Mar and Steve's Hot Dogs are open. However,
we're about 30 to 50% under what it takes to keep our doors open. We are effectively taking a loss every day that we open our business, but we're trying to hold on because we saw a vision for this neighborhood and we really want to see that happen.
A fundraiser this summer raised about $100,000 for some of the business owners. They're kicking off dollars for Del Mar in December, although people can contribute online right now. It's now 8:08. We'll check traffic and weather in 2 minutes.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Missouri can count on.
Cardinal Cowboy here. After a coma, a miracle, and the fight of my life, I made it back to the games wearing my signature cowboy hat and jersey. Then came the baseball pants, the replica trophy, and the smiles and joy from the young fans. That's when the Cardinal Cowboy was born. Renner Garage Door knows how to bring joy too. With top brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, and family service you can trust, get your free repair or replacement quote today. Forward and back. Giddy up!
RENNER, RENNER.
This is Congressman Bob Onder. In September, House Republicans passed a bill to keep the government open by extending funding at current levels. Now Washington liberals are holding the American people hostage. They shut down your government and are demanding Medicaid for illegal aliens and funding for woke projects, which would cost taxpayers $1.5 trillion. Now federal workers are missing paychecks. That's unacceptable. Throughout the shutdown, our offices will remain open to help you, our constituents. Go to onder.house.gov to find the office closest to you.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
Chesterfield Valley Nursery invites you to make your own live holiday decor this year in our Winter Planter class happening on November 22nd. Sign up today on our website or Facebook. Learn how to put together a live evergreen porch planter. Registration required. Spots fill up fast. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com. That's November 22nd. ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com to register.
This hour of Total Information AM is sponsored by Gamma Tree Experts. Your morning news and information. Total Information AM.
It's 8:10. We need to check back into the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center. Roger, it hasn't always been an easy Friday morning. How's it look now?
Certain spots, Megan. North 55 remains closed at the Ozora exit, Highway J. You have to take J over to 61 to get into St. Genevieve because it's a overturned tanker truck at the Highway 32 exit that is leaking. The leak is contained, but that's why North 55 is closed through that stretch. North 55 a little heavy into 67. They're still working the crash on northbound 270 at the Sappington Road overpass. Flatbed tow trucks on the scene now, but it's a jam at 55. Once you get around it, it's still slow north of Manchester up to Ladue. We had a recent crash there. Southbound 270 at Ladue, that's a little busy. Looks like we have an incident westbound 70 at 5th Street, jammed as you approach the Blanchette Bridge. And on the downtown area, stall in the right lane, westbound 70 before the Branch exit. So traffic is slow back to the Musel Veterans Bridge. Eastbound 64 jams from 3rd Street on the 5570 to about 203. They're doing road work. It's down to one lane between Exchange and 203 eastbound. They'll open up an additional lane at 3 this afternoon, but it's still going to be a mess headed into Illinois. And the Poplar, those left lanes are still closed at the Illinois end of the bridge. That's going to be out there through Monday at noon. And eastbound 64 is still a solid jam from 50 through Greenmount Road. It opens up just before you get to 158. Next update at 8:20 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
A big change is on the way this weekend. We'll start out warm today as clouds give way to increasing amounts of sunshine. It'll become breezier, high 72. Tonight, clear to partly cloudy, low 45. Clouding up tomorrow, it'll become breezy in the afternoon with a late day shower or two, the high 65 to 69. And wind terribly colder for Sunday. Clouds give way to some sun. The high, though, only 42 with AccuWeather real field temperatures, mostly in the 20s. From the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk, I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on 104.1 FM KMOX.
Cloudy skies this morning, 65 degrees in Florissant at 63, in St. Peter 63, downtown at the Arch. This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. A new report reveals that many ed tech companies are offering little transparency about important elements of the artificial intelligence products they're marketing to your kids' K-12 schools. Hannah Quay de Lavallée, senior technologist at the Center for Democracy and Technology.
Certainly I think, there is quite a bit of an AI hype cycle right now, I would say. And so there is definitely a sort of newer tools that are coming on that are specifically for these contexts. But there are also quite a bit of sort of like legacy ed tech companies that are adding AI to their product offerings.
Because that's one of the things that I had heard, and it may very well have been from the organization's own research, that for some educators, for example, tools that they have been using for years now have an AI component, and they're not quite sure about the integrity of that.
Yeah, I think that's a real challenge. And one of the things that we have thought a lot about that is not quite as reflected in this report, since this is more focused at kind of the adoption process. But in addition to these tools, this AI can get added onto existing tools now. Obviously, we're a C-suite organization, so I'm suddenly have Google Gemini popping up offering to write my emails for me. And depending on the tool that it's been added to and various organizational policies, in some cases, the school or even an individual user may not even have an option about whether or not they turn that on or turn it off or make it available. And I think that another place that that can be a real challenge is around another category in the rubric that we used to evaluate these tools was data management, right? So AI tools rely on a lot of data and they consume a lot of data. The data management element of the rubric was actually something that I think we did in some ways see better results on, in part because it's often something that would go in a privacy policy. So a lot of these companies already have a place where that would live, and they're sort of primed to build out that information. But in developing the rubric, we had initially, okay, having a privacy policy is a positive transparency step. One of the things that we realized in the development process is that these privacy policies, some of them speak very explicitly to the AI nature of their product, right? The AI element will use this data, or we do not, or we do or do not share this data, this specific type of data with our AI vendor. And other policies don't talk about that explicitly, right? So, you can make some educated guesses from a more general privacy policy about what might be going into an AI system, but you wouldn't necessarily know for sure. Whereas with other policies, we saw very clear carve-outs, like this is our AI specific component of our privacy policy.
I'm sure there's different layers to this as to how this really impacts the educational process. I'm thinking of it from an administrative standpoint of just purchasing tools and the budget and the taxpayer money, all the way down to how does it affect the kids in the classroom. What would you tell our listeners about that?
So I think I would say a number of things. The first thing is like those kind of all bonded together, right? I think in a lot of cases we're seeing a push toward AI happened for a number of different reasons. The hype cycle was certainly part of that, but schools being resource constrained environments, right? So there's a real push to try to adopt AI to provide the kinds of things that schools want to be providing in that educational process that they maybe don't feel they have the resources to do through more traditional means, right? Whether that's staffing or, one of the tools, college counselors, mental health counselors, all that stuff. But I think you highlight two really key components of that, right? The first one is this feeling that an AI system will be a better resource spend. And I think very frequently don't actually know that. That kind of goes to the testing and evaluation framework. So, resources spent on something that doesn't work, even if it would have been cheaper through some other avenue, is still not an effective way out of resources. And then I think there's the question both of, does it provide the value it's expected to provide? But then additionally, what other risks and harms is it bringing into an educational context? And I think that's a really critical question as well, right? Is it improving the quality of education, but also what kinds of risks is it exposing students to that they may not have been exposed to before? One of which we've touched on already is the sort of data management and privacy questions. There are certainly equity risks that stem from the use of these tools. In addition to the transparency report that we're discussing now, CDT recently conducted some nationally representative polling that we put out a report on as well recently. And one of the use cases that we're seeing an uptick in reporting of is using AI tools to help craft IEPs, individualized education plans. These are used for students with disabilities who need specific accommodations in their education. And using AI for that kind of thing, you have to think about what happens if that plan is unrealistic? What happens if that plan is not meeting the needs of the student? Now you're having potentially a disproportionate impact on the specific population of students, those need accommodations who are already, maybe kind of at risk in their educational journey. One other thing I would add, just kind of in this process of procurement and how do you bring these tools on board, is thinking about what that contract looks like and what offboarding might look like. Many of these tools are new, and I think I think that there could very well be a lot of potential for these tools to really help improve certain aspects of education. I think we need to be realistic about what those aspects are, but they're also new, and by the nature of that, they're untested, or maybe in future, the environment will change and a tool that may have worked before will not work going forward, or technology will improve and we want to move to something better. It's really critical to be thinking about this during the procurement process, to think about, make sure you're not locking yourself into a tool that you can't guarantee is going to work for you. This is, how do you think about piloting these tools? How do you think about ensuring that the vendor is responsible for a certain level of performance and that you're able to move away from a tool that isn't functioning for you anymore, rather than being on the hook for multiple years of something that you decided isn't meeting the needs of your population?
What would you say the big takeaway is that our listeners should get, whether they're knee deep in this educational realm or they've got a kid in the system?
I think for those who are knee deep in the educational realm, the reason that we are focusing on transparency is, to me, it's the root of a lot of these things. You cannot answer these questions if you're not getting the information you need from a tool. In some cases, that may be a tool that works great, and they just don't necessarily have a good idea of what transparency looks like. In other cases, that's a tool that's a little bit of a fly-by-night thing, taking advantage of a glut of funding and a hype cycle. For somebody with a student in the system, with a child in the educational system, I would say don't be afraid to ask these questions. Schools should be, this program is about transparency from the vendor to the school, but there's a transparency component from the school to the parent and the community too. And so they should be able to ask these questions and get good answers to them. AI is a complicated space, but you are still the expert on your child's needs. Your child is the expert on their own experience, right? So just because a tool may work for everybody else does not necessarily mean it's going to work for you. There are, real good reasons why it's not reasonable for every parent to maybe be able to opt out their kid from every different system. But being told that something works you shouldn't be afraid to ask follow-up questions, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That's Hannah Quay de Lavallee, Senior Technologist at the Center for Democracy and Technology. Day 21, let's check the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, good news on Northeast 70, Megan. Just cleared that crash Northeast 70 this afternoon in Aurora Pass. Traffic still jammed back at 55. 55, of course, is still closed at Ozora, at Highway J there because of a tanker truck crash on Highway 32 north at that point. If you're on westbound 70, I can't tell. It looks like maybe a stall. Whiteland mentioned it earlier. It's on the Blanchette Bridge, westbound 70. Not a jam like it was, but it's slow at Earth City to that point. If you're downtown, that stall's still in the right lane as well. Westbound 70 at Branch. Traffic jammed back past the usual Veterans Bridge. Eastbound 64 is on the brakes from about 3rd Street on the 5570 through Exchange because it's down to one lane for roadwork there, and then eastbound 64, roadwork has you restricted eastbound. It's bumper to bumper from 50 through Greenmount. It opens up just before you get to 158. Next update at 8:30. Overhead Door Company, St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking the forecast for today, clouds giving way to increasing sunshine throughout the day, breezy and warm with a high of 72. We have cloudy skies, 63 degrees downtown New York.
As the old saying goes, odds matters. At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers, nearly 6,000 people on staff. But at the core, this is and always has been a family business.
Our family, watching out for your family.
Call us or email us 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, even on a Saturday or a Sunday. And if you ever have a problem, call our mom.
Morgan & Morgan.
For the people and your family.
Injured? Call Town Hall or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Guys, Clover here with my very, very good friend, Dr. Kathy Maupin at BioBalanceHealth.com. If you have reached that certain age and you're just not feeling very well and nothing's working the way it used to work, go see Dr. Kathy. She is not only a medical doctor, she is a patient of this bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. It absolutely works. It's a long-term solution. She is an artist when it comes to helping you with your hormones. BioBalanceHealth.com for Dr. Kathy Maupin.
Nobody had to tell your grandparents not to drive while using their typewriters. Why should it be any different for us kids and our cell phones? Distracted driving is the cause of more than 3,000 deaths in 2022. Come on, we're smarter than this. Let's put down the phones and focus on the roads. Drive safe, everybody.
Don't drive distracted. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
At Body and Hearing, our mission is simple: to make better hearing affordable for everyone. We're proud to offer high-quality, rechargeable hearing aids starting at just $98. Clear, comfortable, and ready to use right out of the box. And here's a study worth hearing. Research shows that wearing hearing aids can reduce your risk of dementia by up to 61%. Join over 1 million happy customers and hear the difference today by going to audionhearing.com. That's AUDIEN hearing.com.
Swapping out your tires? There's nothing like it. With eBay, you can find the feel you're looking for, from smooth highway rides to grip for rough terrain. Get all the tires you need, prices you'll love. eBay. Things people love.
This is Total Information AM on KMOX. I'm Megan Lynch. Hancock, once Missouri's first all-black city, has long been treated as an illegal dumping ground by outsiders looking to offload their trash. Meet Graham Heidemann, the low cop tasked with patrolling the town daily while the region continues cleanup efforts. He joined our Sean Malone, who asked him how he felt when he was first given this task.
I have a lot of connection to the city of Kinloch. Before I became a police officer, I was actually a firefighter EMT. I actually volunteered at the fire department here in Kinloch for several years before I became a police officer. So I've got a lot of connection here to the city of Kinloch. So when they were looking for a contract officer, one, I was glad to step up for it, and building the connections that I have with the residents here. Actually, they were requesting me specifically to our captain.
Can you give me a number? How many arrests have you made involving illegal dumping so far?
There's been quite a few. Mostly what we're doing is we're handling them as summons and lieu. Basically, it's a ticket. Basically, it's considered a formal arrest. But we're not actually taking them down to the county jail. That's been the majority of my so-called arrests with them. There have been a couple that I've catched in progress, and those are full custody arrests. I tow their vehicle, I tow their trailer, and that's how we handle those situations.
I don't mean exactly. Can you give me a rough number on how many of those incidents there have been? Are we talking tens? Are we talking 100 over the month?
Probably since August, I've probably had at least 15 to 20. illegal dumping incidents that have ultimately led to location of a suspect and the issuance of a citation or a full custody arrest.
Is there anything that's been dumped that you found to just be ridiculous or stood out amongst the rest in any way? I remember seeing when the cleanup first started in August, there were mattresses still racked together, meant that they didn't just come from one person getting rid of a mattress. It was a distributor of some sort getting rid of a stack of them. Is there anything that stood out to you saw being dumped?
Mattresses are definitely one of the big things. I think a lot of people struggle with appropriately disposing of mattresses. So why the initial thought of bringing that here, originally came to me, I'm not too sure. But no, I found all kinds of stuff. Right up the hill right now, they just cleaned it up. There was a hot tub. Somebody just cut a hot tub in half and dumped one side on one side of the road, and the other half on the other side of the road. Construction debris is a big one. Basically, I find a lot of, it looks to me like house cleanouts. Somebody either moves, gets evicted, whatever the case might be, and they need to get rid of whatever stuff. So I find a lot of clothing, boxes, things like that out here.
You've obviously, from even beyond these last couple of months, long experience with Pinlock. How has this cleanup effort since August gone? Is it making progress?
Absolutely. I mean, the biggest thing is the overall health of the community and the happiness of the residents. You can see when we're out here doing these cleanups, when we're making a difference, we're making a visible difference. The residents are much happier because they're the ones that have to live with this every day. They're the ones that are having to drive past these piles of trash. As you heard from one of the residents, sometimes even having to stop their vehicle and move the trash to even get through. It's not only just a way of life issue, but it's a safety issue. If we have these spaces that have been completely filled with trash and the fire trucks can't get by, or I can't get by for an emergency response or anything like that, that's a problem. That takes time away from that emergency response, and sometimes that can be life and death.
I believe he said that you even had some of the dumpers get involved in the cleanup and at least coming back and picking up what they've dumped.
Absolutely. Because ultimately it comes down to the only way the items are going to get cleaned up is either by the city itself or during these volunteer days. So if I can hold these dumpers responsible, most of the time they're cooperative with coming back and picking up. They know they did wrong. They made a mistake. They realize, hey, I shouldn't have dumped it here. And I give them that opportunity to make right. They still are held accountable. They're still issued the summonses for illegal dumping. But what I do is I notate their willingness and cooperation with my investigation to come back and make right, to clean up their items and dispose of it properly.
It's time for a $98 furnace tune-up.
Contracts and exclusions at endurancewarranty.com.
In sports, it's the dream team. And if your car is out of warranty, there's a team for that as well. You, the driver, your mechanic, and Endurance. Pay for the repair bills. I'm Dan Patrick. In the past 5 years, auto repair costs have gone up over 36%. And if your manufacturer's warranty is expired, you'll have to cover it all. With an Endurance auto protection plan, no matter what the mileage, if your car is under 20 years old, Endurance can get you covered on the engine, electrical system, transmission, AC, and Endurance has a plan for any budget. Repairs can be done by the certified mechanic of your choice. Plans cover 24/7 towing, battery jumps, fuel deliveries, tire changes, and lockout services. Act now and get the benefits of our Elite Plan, a $2,000 value at no extra cost. With Endurance, you could never pay for covered auto repairs again. So call now for your free quote.
Call 800-293-8030. That's 800-293-8030. 800-293-8030.
He was in the locker room both times when I announced that they were there, along with the locker room policy.
Quality prescription products require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. See website for details, restrictions, and important safety information.
Want a boost in and out of the bedroom? Hims has you covered. Introducing a new 2-in-1 approach to level up your game. Tadalafil for better bedroom performance and zinc for testosterone.
Bring either of those home? It outlines alternative
all the
workouts.
way up. Getting started is simple. Just go to hims.com/joy to start your free online visit. Through Hims, you can access ED treatments, including pills, shoes, and more, 100% online. No office visits, no pharmacy lines. Just fill out a simple intake form, and a licensed medical provider will determine if treatment's right for you. If prescribed, it ships.
If you didn't grab them, I will email them to you when I get home.
Treatment options at up to 95% less than brand names at hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy, HIMS.com/JOY.
It's 8:31. Let's get a check of the roads now with Roger Brand in the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, they just cleared the stall westbound 70 on the Blanchette Bridge, so things have thinned out there. They were reporting a crash at the westbound 70 exit to 5th Street now. I don't see that. I do see a backup eastbound 70 as you get on the Blanchette Bridge, so we could have some trouble maybe eastbound now as well. Just pay attention. Can't really see what lane is blocked. Possibly the right lane. It looks like I see some folks moving through the area right now. North 270 is back to normal. That crash at the Sappington overpass cleared, and the jam is gone. Still to have 55 shut down northbound at the Ozora exit because of the tanker truck crash at 32. Still the stall in the right lane westbound 70 before Branch Street. Traffic's backed up to the Arch Grounds on eastbound 44 as you head into town. Eastbound 64 jam 3rd Street onto 5570 at Exchange, and eastbound 64 Greenmount, 50 into Greenmount. There's a crash reported there, and it's still heavy east of there to 158 in that construction area. Next update at 8:40 from the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
And checking that forecast, it's sponsored by the Saliga Heating and Cooling Weather Desk. It looks like we're going to have clouds to start, sunny later, breezy and warm this afternoon with a high of 72. Clear to partly cloudy and cooler tonight with an overnight low of 45. Right now, clouds, 63 degrees in downtown St. Louis. A local doctor welcomes President Trump's deal with drug makers to provide obesity medications like Zepbound and Wegovy at significantly reduced prices. KNOX Health Editor Fred Bottomer spoke with Sleep Care General Internist Dr. Fred Buchwald at SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital about the soon-to-be much lower-cost GLP-1 drugs.
Yeah, and this is kind of an extension, I think, of a discussion we had during the previous administration, too, where I don't know if it's still going to happen or not, but there is, I think, in 26, a number of different drugs that are quite effective and important, but still very pricey. Would be, I guess, Medicare would use its purchasing power to make them cheaper. And the most common amongst these, Freds, were a couple diabetic drugs and then what I call the blood thinning drugs. So the listeners probably know as Xarelto and Eliquis, which are incredibly useful and powerful medicines in our armamentarium. And again, I think anything you get medicines that are incredibly effective and have a very, compared to the alternatives that are cheaper, a much improved safety profile is really, really important. My practice is full of people that would really benefit from a drug like Ozempic. And again, when people do get it for various reasons or they can afford it, I'd say, Fred, I don't think I've seen something like this in my practice. I mean, you see somebody that's heavy, that has high blood pressure, they have diabetes or borderline diabetes, they're not able to exercise because of joint pain because of the extra weight they're on, and they lose 50, 60 pounds, and it's life-changing. It's psychologically for the patient of, just the social effect of being obese in this country, and then to not have that anymore, it's profound. And to have that so it's affordable for most people, or that insurances will cover it more reliably for those that have health insurance. I think it's just essentially a good thing. I think this should be available. Yes, we don't know the long-term effects of taking these drugs, but we certainly know the long-term effects of obesity and the effect it has on people's health. I see it as a public health problem, Fred. And, if we can make it a massive change for the health of our patients and our population, frankly, it's one of those things if done on a large scale can have a huge effect. And there's trade-offs with everything, but I think this is one, to me, at least as much as I can tell with the data that's available to me, this seems like a very smart trade-off, and I applaud this move.
Sleep Care General Internist Dr. Fred Buchwald at SSM Health St. Louis University Hospital.
Hi, Margaret with Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano. Our St. Louis Baseball Cardinals reset last season. Now they're planning for the long term. Have you thought about a long-term plan for your family? A will, a trust, powers of attorney?
Oh, yeah. How are you doing?
Capriano can guide you with a personalized estate plan. Sign up for our free webinar on our website, yourestateMatters.com. Learn more about estate planning, get some answers, list your questions, then schedule a consultation. You can plan for your family, your favorite charities, taxes, your long-term care, and even your pets now, before the courts do it for you later. Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano, YourEstateMatters.com.
The choice of an attorney is an important decision and shouldn't be based solely on advertising.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife, and 4 kids. The best place to get life insurance.
You have life insurance, John?
No. You can do it in 10 minutes. No medical exam.
Who am I leaving stuff to?
Well, John. 10 minutes, so your family.
I won't be around for your life.
Life.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20
I have something in my business called Keyman
Most people
Insurance.
like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better. Because if you're not using all that data,
Have a little bit of money around this.
Freedom, visit consumercellular.com/max.
I get more nervous all the time because
Country Weather Report now, sponsored by Eamon, Gantner, and Capriano Elder Law Attorneys.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. The maker of the Frosty is making a comeback, maybe.
I've been around so long that my life insurance is the best thing my wife's got going.
We're
for
down
her.
less than expected. That counts as good news.
Makes you
Wendy's
nervous,
is navigating this challenging market without a permanent chief executive officer.
You know, my
IKEA posting a 26% drop in profit.
Taken
The
out
rising costs of materials, they
cancer
come with
insurance
products, tariffs, and
for,
one of the biggest price cut programs
all
in
of
the
the
country.
practitioners because
margins,
of
even
how they
as
work with X-ray
grew. And Tesla shareholders did approve that $1
that
trillion compensation
saved my
package for
parents.
CEO
He had cancer.
Musk.
Yeah, like if she had not had that policy, mom had not had that policy, like she would have been sunk after he died.
1% for the S&P 500.
That was I didn't know anything like that even existed. Yeah.
And holiday spending expected to
Yeah,
surpass
it pretty
$1
much
billion
picked up
this
like anything that
year.
regular insurance didn't cover for his
John
cancer.
Tucker, Bloomberg Radio.
What
Yeah.
kind did cancer do?
He had, why is this not? All right.
This is Kyle Bush with Krantz Financial Group. For over 6 decades, we've helped St. Louis families and businesses.
Yeah, it's given me a weird saying database connection loss, trying to reconnect.
You may have left behind one or more 401ks, unwatched, unmanaged, and potentially your largest retirement asset.
Okay.
Just because it's out of sight.
Yeah, it's not letting me use NewsBoss at all.
Let's make sure it's working as hard for your future as you are. Your goals.
Abort.
Danger!
FINRA/SIPC. Krantz Financial is our broker dealer.
It's the Medicare Advantage annual enrollment period, and Humana knows.
Yeah, he had
how
pancreatic cancer, liver, then it metastasized to the liver and to his brain.
Enjoy the life I've worked hard to build. So I want a plan that covers me when I'm
where you just there's not much you can do about
Humana
it.
has a plan for that.
As a veteran, I want a plan that
or
18 months.
like dental care.
Humana has a plan for that.
What do you want?
Good about my health. I just want care and coverage with predictable costs.
Humana has a plan for that.
Yeah, it's like showing
With a
red. I've
Humana
never seen
Medicare Advantage plan, you get coverage and benefits that focus on what matters most to you. Learn more at gethumana.com. Humana, a more human way to healthcare. Humana is a Medicare Advantage HMO and PPO organization with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in any Humana plan depends on contract renewal.
You know, St. Louis Public Library is one of my favorite places, and with good reason, because it's about so much more than just books. Although with one card, you've got unlimited possibility for checking out up to 100 items, books, movies, games, and more. But you can also borrow hotspots, check out telescopes, binoculars, fishing tackle, use free computers, in-house laptops. I threw my printer in the dumpster in the alley because I hated it, and I just go to the library to print. You know, you actually get $5 of free printing every month with your library card from St. Louis Public Library. You can print in color on campus or 3D. Use their recording rooms for your next podcast. Borrow their sewing machines or embroidery machines, or use a creative experience maker spaces. It is all free with your St. Louis Public Library card. Plus, they've got database access, online learning for tutoring, and you can attend book clubs in person, story time, author talks, computer training, craft workshops. They've got job resources. It truly is a gift to our community. St. Louis Public Library, St. Louis's original search engine. Check it out now at slpl.org.
Glover here for my friends at Cantor Injury Law. Cantor is local, and we're here doing the work every day. We're right here in St. Louis, and we're ready to fight for you.
Because
CantorInjuryLaw.com.
sometimes the way they edit those videos
the choice of a
on
lawyer
social media, it's not cutting it.
Advertisements.
This is 104.1 FM KMOX. Here's what's happening. The Federal Aviation Administration forcing airlines to cut 10% of their flights at 40 of the busiest airports across the nation to reduce pressure on air traffic controllers during the ongoing government shutdown. The world's richest man just handed a chance to become history's first trillionaire. Elon Musk won a shareholder vote Thursday that would give the Tesla CEO stock worth $1 trillion if he hits certain performance targets over the next decade. And Honda reports a 37% drop in profit for the first fiscal half through September, the impact of tariffs and unfavorable currency rates. Let's update you on the ride into work with Roger Brandon, the overhead door company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Well, Megan, we have a new problem, 70 at the Blanchette Bridge. This traffic reports a service of financial and tax strategies. It's a crash. Eastbound Highway 70 on the Blanchette Bridge. Center lane's blocked. It's backed up at Highway 94 right now, bumper to bumper. They cleared the westbound problem. If you're on northbound 270, it's still slow. Clayton Road up to Ladue. Northbound 55 into 67, a little delay. Westbound 70 downtown is still bogged down from the Musewell Veterans Bridge out toward Branch. We had a stall in the right lane there. And we have this roadwork jam eastbound 64 approaching 5570. It goes on through Exchange to about 203. It's down to one lane through there. And eastbound 64 jammed from 50 through Green Mountain. Then it's slow most of the way from that point to 158. I'm Roger Brand at the Overhead Door Company of St. Louis Traffic Center.
Retirement shouldn't feel like balancing a checkbook while blindfolded. I'm Gary Goldberg, and my team helps you see the big picture so you can retire younger, richer, and with less anxiety. Because guessing is not a strategy. Tune in to Wealth and Wisdom with Gary Goldberg Saturday mornings at 7 here on KMOX.
Time for the Friday edition of Hancock and Kelley.
You two belong together.
John Hancock, Michael Kelley on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Good morning, John Hancock.
What's cooking there, big boy?
Not much. You stay up last night and watch that Blues game?
I was at an event last night.
Really?
Yes.
Well, the Blues have turned it around. They got 3 goals last night that shut out by our backup goalie.
I told the folks, I was the MC. I told the folks one of the ancillary benefits of being here tonight is we're not forced to watch the St. Louis Blues.
Well, maybe you shouldn't watch them anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the jinx.
It could be me.
No, yeah, college basketball now has started.
Yes.
SLU's back at it. Mizzou, I think, goes at it tonight. We're sliding towards Christmas. By the way, during the football game last night on Prime, you have to go out of your regular TV and into Prime.
Yeah.
Big scoring game, 10-7.
10-7.
Ooh.
Was that awful?
Yeah.
I saw the fourth quarter.
Christmas commercials.
Yeah, love it.
Saw some bunch of them.
Love it.
Take the sheet off the Christmas tree in the corner of your house.
Buddy, I got to go find that sucker.
Yeah. Is that what you need to do?
Yeah, it's down in the basement somewhere. So
I got a little skip in my step after this past Tuesday. The Democrats had a great day across the country. Heard this stat, which was shocking. In every county in the country, Republicans lost ground, meaning Democrats picked up percentages of the votes, even in extreme Republican areas, which, look, I know the big focus is Zohan and what happened in New York. But the reality is some moderate Democrats won across the country, and it seems to be winning on the same issue that Donald Trump won his election on. Donald Trump wants to continue to double down here, John. How do Republicans embrace Trump but get away from his policies?
I think it's a very sticky wicket. And perhaps once the filing closes for all these various congressional seats sometime early next year, and every state's got a different timeline. And once they're assured that they don't have a challenge from the right, perhaps Republican members of Congress will begin to try and position themselves to be more appealing to the electorate. Now, the politics right now for Republicans is pretty toxic. And there was some reporting yesterday, who knows if it's true, that Republican members of Congress, some have been briefed by sources with the FBI saying that the Epstein files are much worse for Trump than they originally thought. And, once this congresswoman from Arizona is seated, they've got enough. They'll have enough signatures for the discharge petition that'll force a vote within 7 days on the House floor to release the Epstein files. That could be, who knows, but it could be a bombshell.
It's the president's doubling down. He's trying to tell the senators, hey, get rid of the filibuster, go the nuclear option. Same thing that Democrats were pressured to do by my side.
Yep.
I agree with you. I think it's a mistake. Nothing lasts forever, not even Donald Trump. And I just wonder who wins that battle. Mike Johnson, I saw him on TV today. He's carrying Donald Trump's talking points still. He's not opening up Congress, etc. The senators, they especially have to be nervous because they know the real ramifications of not having any check.
Yeah, and we're living it. Trump's approval rating is at an all-time low, depending on the poll you look at. But all the polls have him dramatically upside down in his job approval numbers. Now, that's a pretty powerful sign heading into an election where Republicans would have a shot at keeping the Senate just because of the seats that are on the table. But, I've never thought the House was going to stay Republican, even with all the redistricting nonsense out there. The Democrats are going to take the House. But what strikes me about this administration is how unconcerned they are about optics. Most White Houses have somebody in the White House who's the image person. Ronald Reagan had Mike Deaver. And they're tasked with putting the president in situations that are going to be appealing to the electorate, and it seems to me like this administration has zero concern about optics, about anything.
Well, they're painting outside the Oval Office in gold. They're building this ballroom
while the government shut down. Just the optics of it is, not good.
Yeah, and the classlessness, I think, that the White House has shown this past week, in no respect towards Dick Cheney and Nancy Pelosi. Say what you want about Nancy Pelosi if you're a Republican. She was the first female Speaker of the House, and she will go down in history as one of the most impactful Americans.
A very consequential member of Congress and a historic first female House Speaker.
And President Trump just did his normal, she's a nasty, woman thing. And, I just think it's tiring out. So much more to talk about, but we've got to step aside, don't we?
We do. We'll be back. It's Michael Kelley and John Hancock on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Tom Ackerman for Busey Bank and Building Community, proudly recognizing the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. Known as CASTLE, the agency is one of a network of community action agencies coming together to transition people out of poverty towards self-sufficiency. CASTLE serves 44,000 people in St. Louis County every year. Learn more about the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County at caastlc.org. That's caastlc.org.
This is Blake Trevunza, Commercial Relationship Manager at Busey. The Community Action Agency of St. Louis County, also known as CASTLE, helps people move from crisis to stability. With housing, food, health, legal aid, education, and more, CASTLE empowers families to break the cycle of poverty. Take action yourself and find out more about CASTLE, the Community Action Agency of St. Louis County. That's what building community is all about. Join Busey. Get involved as we continue building the communities we call home.
Hi, this is Charlie Brennan. I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, and Andy Royer. You can too. YourEyeDoc.com.
St. Louis, fall is finally here and back with everything you love about the holiday season. Trans-Siberian Orchestra brings the Ghosts of Christmas Eve to Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. A portion of the proceeds benefits Sightman Kids at St. Louis Children's Hospital. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the Ghosts of Christmas Eve at Enterprise Center, December 23rd at 3 p.m. For more information, kingmox.com/events.
You mentioned optics in the last segment related to this White House, and they brought in the world's richest man, who wound up cutting out USAID and has gone after so much of the things that make government work. It just gets announced yesterday that he's up for $1 trillion pay package. I don't think that type of optic helps either for the Republicans in the time that they're in. You?
Pretty shocking, $1 trillion pay package, but that's what he wanted. He said, if you want me to focus my time on Tesla, this is what it'll take, and that's what they're gonna pay him. You can get a whole bunch of Shohei Ohtanis for that kind of money,
I guess. John, these immigration raids continue to be the story of the country. And it also is touching lives right here. I know it's touched your family.
Yeah. And folks that listen know the story. The update I would have is that this young man who is married to my daughter's dearest friend from preschool was removed from the prison that he was being held and taken, we don't know where. And the family doesn't know. The attorney hasn't been told. ICE doesn't really tell you anything. And this is a young man who was in the country illegally, who thought he had secured legal status through a law firm in Houston, Texas, that they paid $15,000 to. He ended up getting a social security card, driver's license, and that law firm was busted for fraud. His file was in their files, and he was arrested and detained 2 weeks and a day ago, and now he's in a prison somewhere. We don't know where it is. I don't think this is what
he's legally married to her in the United States.
Yeah, they're
correct?
married,
and they have 2 kids,
3-year-old and an 8-month-old. 3-year-old's asking for her daddy. And I heard an interview yesterday between Hugh Hewitt, the conservative radio host, and Tom Suozzi, a Republican congressman from New York. And I think they kind of encapsulate where I think most American public opinion is on this issue. Let's listen to a snippet of that interview.
Let's talk about 2 of those, which is healthcare and immigration. On immigration, I am a border hawk and a regularization dove. We got to do something about the 20 to 30 million people who are in the country illegally. And if they're working and they're good people, let's let them stay, but don't let them vote. That's my view. What's your view on the people who are here without permission?
I got the same view as you. I've been working to build a coalition. I've been working with Democrats and Republicans. I've been working with a guy named Morgan Luttrell. I've been working with other Republicans that you've had on your show to build a coalition of business, badges, and the Bible. It's important for business that we have these workers. It's important for law enforcement that they not be caught up in immigration enforcement, because then people are afraid of the cops. And if they're afraid of the cops, you ruin community policing. And the Bible. We want to treat people like human beings. I mean, who wants to separate mommy away from her children? Who wants to break up families? If somebody's been here for 10, 20, 30 years, they're going to work every day. They're contributing to their community and their society. They're going to church on Sunday. Why are we like breaking the window of the landscaper's car and dragging the people out with the masks on? That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I mean, that encapsulates precisely my feeling on this issue. This young man who is from Mexico, he's been here well over a decade. He's married, he's got 2 kids, had a good job. They have a mortgage, bought a house. And this is not the kind of people that most folks want to see thrown into prison and deported.
We were promised that we were going after the worst of them all. Now think about this. This was a law firm in, did you say Houston, Texas?
Yep.
ICE goes in or something happens. They bust it. They get all these documents. This young man's moved on with his life.
Yeah.
Got married, has 2 babies. How many of those people? And
There
talk
are
about bottom feeding. They then take those documents. They seek this guy out in St. Louis, 800 miles away from where this bust took place, into a suburban neighborhood to go after the worst of the worst. This guy has a mortgage, was going to his job, has 2 babies.
Yeah. I mean,
the humanity that's being lost through this meanness that we've accepted in our culture is sick.
Well, and if you look at Trump's numbers on immigration were through the roof when he got elected. This was a president that was going to crack down on the border. He has. And they were going to deport criminals that were in this country, doing violent crime. Well, they've done some of that, but there are thousands of people who have been here for many years, who have established a life, in many cases married to Americans, in many cases parents of American children, and they are, systematically being tracked down, arrested, thrown in jail with no information. I mean, here's a a wife and mom doesn't know where her husband is. This is not America. It's really disturbing. And Trump's immigration numbers started very strong. He's upside down now on immigration, and it's precisely because of cases like this and the violent interdictions into preschools like we saw in Chicago this past week.
I was going to say, I just caught a snippet of that walking out this morning about the school where they went into the school, took the teacher in front of the kids.
Who was here legally.
Right. And it's just, what is driving this? I mean, are they trying to, what is the president's ultimate goal here?
Numbers.
He wants to be able to say, I've deported the most people. So he can't find the worst of the worst. And so he's just going after those of them who, in some instances, are legal. The other thing that's sickening to me, just who are these masked men walking up to people? What's going on?
Well, they're poorly trained. There have been mass hirings in ICE, and this is no way to run a railroad.
Well, imagine you being in Paris on a subway and having a guy walk up to you and say, "I need to see your papers." How would you react to that? That's what's happening in major countries.
It absolutely
Cities.
is. Well, Chris and Amy are going to show up here in just a couple of minutes, and we're going to stick around with them. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Voice of St. Louis, News Radio 1120, KMOX.
Bush still on the dribble, can't get around the bigger thing. Stolen away by Kelley. Protect yourself. Length of the floor to the hole, layup good because Bush was all over him or he would have dunked it. Yes.
Navigating healthcare can be tricky, but you don't have to do it alone. The Navigator Project is here to help Missourians every step of the way. We provide free, personalized assistance with enrollment in the healthcare marketplace. We'll guide you through your options, help find the right plan, and get the coverage you need. Go to ma4web.org and select the Services tab to find a navigator. Brought to you by the Missouri Association of Area Agencies on Aging.
Chesterfield Valley Nursery invites you to make your own live holiday decor this year in our Winter Planter class happening on November 22nd. Sign up today on our website or Facebook. Learn how to put together a live evergreen porch planter. Registration required. Spots fill up fast. Visit ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com. That's November 22nd. ChesterfieldValleyNursery.com to register.